navigation is accessible 24 hours for your convenience. B&A Petroleum. Fuel you once, fuel you forever.
You say,
move.
And your cows say, you tell them,
your water is right over there.
And they say, you can't convince a cow to move to the water, so move the water to the cows with the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System. With the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System, you can put your pump pretty much anywhere without the cost of hooking up to the grid. Learn more about the Keln Solar Livestock Watering System at kelnsolar.com. Keln Solar, we move water.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sportscage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Keln Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Keln Solar. Visit kelnsolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Monday Sports Cage. Start of a week. Hey, the week can't be shorter for me. Anywho, this is my only day this week of doing this program. Then I hand it off to Maz and Colson and Sharky and whoever else Maz is bringing in. So we'll have some fun here in the next 3 hours. It's the coaches show on Monday for Steel Craft Doors, so we're going to hear from Coach Mace in about 8 to 10 minutes time. How about a little Dustin Nielson from Edmonton Sports Talk, play-by-play on TSN for the CFL. They're getting ready for Oilers Panthers Game 3 tonight. So Dusty's going to join us. Also in Hour 1. Hour 2, Dave Thomas, voice of the Riders, will come in, talk some Riders, talk some CFL, maybe some hockey with David as well. Hour 3, Darian Durant, double talk with Darian for Campbell Safety Consulting. We always welcome your comments, your engagement on the Prairieland Rentals text line, whatever that spring or summer job is, and you need a rental. From power tools to welders and skid steers, 600 Albert Street, you get to deal with the owner. 936-6262. That's the number to participate in the program. What are you thinking today? Maybe you're an Oiler fan. Maybe you're not an Oiler fan. You have a prediction for Game 3. Or just some comments on, a new running back in the fold with the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Let's bring in Maz. On a scale of 1 to 10, how surprised were you when you saw the news that the Riders had signed Kadeem Carey?
What did I text you on Thursday when the game was on, when Ouellette got hurt and he had to leave the field?
My mother-in-law's party was so expensive, I'll be paying it off for the next year. That text?
If you're asking if my brother-in-law has paid his portion of the party, then the answer on that is no. But I texted you, the Riders need to sign Kadeem Carey. And then look what happens. And we don't know what's up with Ouellette. He's playing, not playing. The guy was the 2-time leading rusher in the CFL, and he's out on the street. You got problems, grab him, snag him up. So I wonder, did J.O. tap into our phones on Thursday? And if he did, sorry, there was a few memes there. Maybe don't share those. But is he texting his agent during the game? Being like, may need to have a chat later.
I'm going to ask Coach Mace flat out, like, when he was released, were you guys now in scramble mode to make this happen? I'm going to ask him. I think that would be probably the case. And a lot of people said it. You said it. Yes, you did text me that on Thursday. Also, Harry, who hosts the show, co-hosts with me once in a while, texts me, hey, Kadeem, J.O. here. that was the text. So, hey, we got him. I don't know how it happens with the cap, nor do I care. You're the last guy to care about the cap.
Do not care. Look at marketing. If Nathan Rourke can be paid close to $700,000 a year, we can pay a running back probably $125 somehow.
Yeah, but just make it happen. I mean, you get whatever job you're at right now, and it is so hard to find good employees in this day and age, whether it's salespeople or trades people, good drivers. I think it really is. And no offense to the younger demo listening, they're kind of here today, gone today kind of people. Hey, I got nieces and nephews, and I'm like, I don't know if I'd hire you, to be honest with you. Some of them I would, but the grind just isn't there. So if you got a good employee, you got a chance to get a good employee, you snag them. Now you got to treat them. You got to treat them well, and it depends what demo in. You may have to coddle them a bit, and you got to do all this. But the Riders making noise. I think. What does the rest of the league think too? Right? Kind of like,
Well, my big fear would be, let's say, in Winnipeg's first game this week, Oliveira tweaks a baby toe or something like that in warm-up. And then all of a sudden the Bombers sign him because he's still out on the street. And then the Bombers get that much better because they just bring him in. And then they have that. He was always my favorite stamp over these past few years. And a guy I'm like, he'd look good being part of Rider Nation. It's a good job, J.O.
Yeah, so we'll talk to Coach Mace here in a bit about that. Also today, the Riders bring back linebacker Braxton Hill, who
played
had a great camp.
Preseason. It was the player of the game in that final game against Winnipeg, and we talked to Dave about this last week. You can only keep so many guys.
Yeah.
And I thought he played real well, and Dave's like, so did we. We made him defensive player of the game. He's a true linebacker. He's 6'2", 240, always around the ball. Big.
And then also offensive lineman Darius Washington. Going to talk to Coach Mace about him too. Offensive lineman. He's 6'4", 310, good size, and he's played some good ball, Florida State. So we'll talk to Coach Mace about those guys coming in as well. So the Coaches Show coming up. Texts are already coming in, 936-6262. Maybe you got a question for Coach Mace. If it's radio worthy and we can get to it, we will do it. Sportscage on Mondays is for Kellen Solar. Anything you need solar, they're located in Lumsden, Saskatchewan, whether it's for the livestock operation, the home, or the business. Kellen Solar, you can find them online. It's a Sportscage. We're streaming at sportscage.com.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Egg in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway.
Brought to you by Ag Direct Hail Insurance, Zipperlock Building Company, McDougall Auctioneers, Redvers Agricultural Supply, and 620 CKRM.
Looking for a low-mileage vehicle that hasn't been driven to the moon and back? At Capital GMC, they have over 200 GM-certified pre-owned SUVs, cars, and trucks. Check out this special purchase on the 2024 Buick Encore GX Sport Touring all-wheel drive with leather interior, sunroof, and heated seats, starting at only $31,900, plus tax with a manufacturer-backed warranty and 24-hour roadside assistance. Plus, rates as low as 4.99%. Capital GMC is the GM-certified pre-owned vehicle destination at the corner of Rochdale and Pasqua in Regina.
Did you know over 1.3 million homeowners call on Reliance for their water heater needs? With over 140,000 five-star online reviews and over 60 years experience, you could say Reliance Heath are water heater experts. Switch to Reliance Heath today. They'll give you $200 plus standard installation is included. For all your hot water needs,
call on Reliance.
Visit waterheaterrentals.com for details. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the start of a new year. Time to get financially fit. If you're looking to open an RRSP or a TFSA, maximize an existing account, or update your investment mix, Cooperators can provide the personalized advice and service you need. Want to start the new year on the right financial foot? Contact your local advisor to build a plan that works for you. Cooperators, investing in your future together.
The deck sale is on at Freeze Tallman. Get 15% off composite decking. That's 15% off. Only purchased through Freeze Tallman. If you've got a deck project coming up, then you're going to want to head to Freeze Tallman for their deck sale. That's 15% off composite decking only purchased through Freeze Tallman. Visit freezetallman.com or see them in Regina or Fort Capel.
Freeze Tallman. Let's get you building.
Hey, we're Harvard Media. A few times a year, we love to get together with our favorite businesses and throw a good old-fashioned classic auction.
Sold!
There's nothing like waiting until the last minute, battling out other bidders, and claiming your prize. We're looking for businesses to join up for our next one. All we need from you is an experience, service, or item like a gift card. In return, we'll serve you up a top-tier ad campaign. No cash needed. This is a trade deal. Check out harvardmedia.com for info. Terms and conditions apply.
If you have a garage door that's running a little rough, you should really have Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists, come out and repair it. Or it may need to be replaced altogether. Yeah, just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in the business for many, many years, because they can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Honey, calling Busy Bee.
Good idea. Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
It's time for the Sportscage Riders Coaches Show for the Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation. Get your 50-50 tickets now for all Rider home and away games. Riders5050.ca and Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Welcome back to the Sports Cage on Monday for Kellen Solar. Maz is with me and Colson. It's Monday. It's the coaches show, and this is a good one because we get the head coach. We get Coach Mace for Steelcraft Door Products in Regina. They're building a 40,000 square foot showroom and warehouse. They're going to have everything you need, Steelcraft doors in Western Canada for Western Canada. Coach Mace, no practice today for the fellows. Was that always the plan? Just let them get a lift in?
Yeah. Well, we had, usually these day A's, depending on how everybody's feeling or how we played, et cetera, et cetera. We usually go a lift. Sometimes it's yoga for the guys, or sometimes, last year it was like, hey, we need to get on the field and get some stuff. So today they got a good lift in. Got some meeting time with them to prepare for the next opponent. So we're ahead of the curve here.
Well,
Coach, congratulations.
I was going to say, when's the last time you talked to Kadeem Carey?
Yeah, I gave him a nice hug today, so that was good. A good embrace, man. That obviously we go back a little bit, but happy as ever he's in the building.
Coach, congratulations, 1-0, only 17 more for the undefeated season. I don't know if that's ever been done. No pressure. I had texted Barney last week when AJ got hurt. I'm like, they should sign Kadeem Carey. So your history with him dates back to the Stampeders. One of the things that I've always loved about him, he runs hard. He hits the hole hard. He's never changed that style. And when you look at his stats, led the league in rushing a couple of times, played well in the Grey Cup. What does he mean now that he's part of Rider Nation?
Yeah, I think just that. He's been in a few different organizations that have had success, and he knows what that looks like, so having somebody else in the building, that can kind of share the wealth from that standpoint, I think is huge. And certainly to his play style, 100%, he runs the ball hard. He's actually a patient runner, but when he sees it, he's going to go. Excellent in protection, and would be, pretty familiar with the system, of course. So the main thing is just, you want as many good players on your roster as possible and in the building, and he's certainly that.
Were you and Mark surprised when he got released from Toronto? And second part to the question, is that when you guys start talking immediately, thinking like, how can we make this work?
Yeah, no, I think the whole league was kind of shocked, specifically after the year he had and certainly the Grey Cup game that he played. But, enough, even you guys have been around the league long enough. There's always a couple out there that kind of shock you. And, certainly, conversations went, but, it had to make sense for everybody and for him himself. Like I said, I think a couple weeks ago or last week or whatever, I'm not going to be surprised if he's on a roster somewhere. And, it ended up turning out that he's going to be, wearing the green and white and be in the building. So, hey, man, all parties are happy about that.
And
Coach,
and then sorry, Maz. Braxton Hill coming back into the fold, and then offensive lineman Darius Washington as well. You can never have Too many O-linemen. We learned that last year as we're going along here. Well, bringing both those guys in, just some comments on both of them coming.
Yeah, I'll start with Brax. Brax had an excellent training camp for us. And then he was with the team on the PR last year. We think highly of him. I thought he played pretty dang well in the preseason. But having him back in the building and just again, if you look at the roster totality and what Jo and Kyle and those guys are able to do, and Paul Jones, we want to kind of raise the floor, so to speak. And these are really good players we're talking about. And then with Darius, I mean, he's on our neg list. We were hoping one day to be able to get him, and he had a couple stops in mini camps in the NFL, and he's been able to carve out a really nice career for him at Florida State. I think over the 5 or 6 years he's been there, he's started in games almost every year. He's played tackle, he's played guard, he's played center. He's got long arms, and I was on FaceTime with him. I said, "Hey, kid, you want me to give you a little quick tour of the facility?" He said, "No, Coach, I don't care about that kind of stuff. Kind of just want to put my hands on people."
Nice.
Hey, well,
Nice.
You don't know me, but I love you.
So, Coach, probably the $1 million question that a lot of us have been wondering since Thursday. Time for the health update. AJ Ouellette, Roland Milligan, and the chances of them playing this week against Hamilton. What can you tell us?
Yeah, I think we got to do the proper steps necessary, but similar to how I said with Kadeem, I wouldn't be shocked. I wouldn't be shocked if those guys are out there playing this week. So, we just, we want to do our due diligence and do it the right way. Ultimately, we're always looking out for those guys and their health. So, but if it doesn't trend that way, like I said, whether it was in the game that we adjusted, or if there's other people on PR that have to come up or whatnot, we feel confident in the roster. So, but I think they're both trending in the right direction.
I talked about it last week on the show. You raved about it in the post game. Thomas the Train, TBH, call him what you want. What a game. I almost felt like it was like a coming out party, a Thursday night, the only game. Just now that you've had a chance to watch tape, I'm sure, and go back, how do you assess the game now that he had?
Yeah, no, incredible. As the pecking order throughout camp and stuff like that, and even when we looked at it in the off season of, what is each player doing with their opportunities, and he's always answered the bell, man. Regardless of whatever situation, he's had to step up and carry the ball or protect or catch it out of the backfield. He gets it done. So, extremely, extremely pleased with his performance. And I'm happy that he said he was working on this celebration. I thought it was going to be something crazy, just to tug the train horn there or whatever. But I was just happy as ever for the kid. And he works his tail off, man. So he deserves it.
Coach, I'm not sure if you had a chance, I'm assuming you did, to watch the other games around the league. Not a lot of people gave any respect to the Calgary Stampeders going into the season, let alone week one. All of the experts picked them to lose to Hamilton. Hamilton showed up. Maybe they didn't play their best game. They played well enough, but Calgary looks like a contender. You were part of that organization. Behind closed doors with Huff and Dave Dickinson, is losing considered worse than winning? Like what the feeling of, because you just know it wasn't going to sit right. And Dave even said 5 wins is not good enough. They looked pretty good on Saturday. Did you see that as well?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I know it's always in the beginning part of the year, it's tough for people to make predictions because you just kind of look on paper and what should be what. But, that's just ultimately not how the game's played. You got to go out there and get it done. But even from, looking at their roster and obviously the addition of VA, he's proven it in multiple places what he's able to do, and knowing the coaching that they have there on in 3 phases of football, like there's some really good coaches over there. So they look like a good team. Look like they were playing hard. Look like there was confidence in each other. So it's just another team out in the West is going to be it's a grind every week, man. And really, it's across the league. It's not even just I think these last couple of years. I think all the teams are pretty dang close. you got to show up, or you're going to be leaving there, pretty dang sad. So it's good competition, I think, for everybody, and it's good to keep everybody, on their P's and Q's. Man, you can't show up half stepping.
What did you see out of Hamilton on Saturday that either maybe has you thinking or going, no, that's exactly what we thought? Because for whatever reason, Bo and those receivers, sometimes they're just dropping balls that he's placing in there easily. But when they got going, it seemed that they got going when they got a little momentum and they can move the ball quickly. Is that what you expect out of them on Saturday?
Yeah, look, I mean, they're still ironing out some things with just new additions, you know what I mean? With obviously Kenny going over there and Bo and them finding their timing. But, I look at it as what I know is, Scott's he's an excellent coach in this league. He's got a great resume. Bo is still a walking Hall of Famer. Kenny Lawler, you can argue, is the best receiver in the league. Tim White always puts up numbers, and even on the backside, Bridges, he had a hell of a year last year, and Keandre's coming into his own. I mean, they are a good team. I thought, they were just a couple of miscues and some drop passes you spoke to defensively. I thought they started hot outside of a penalty they took. They probably could have had 3 turnovers in the first, 15 minutes of the game or whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, that's, again, they didn't have probably their best showing that they would want, but everything that I think that they envisioned when signing all of these guys, they have potential to do it. It's just up to their opponent to make sure they don't.
All right. You got the clubhouse lead, to use a golf term, for clip of the year so far in your post game with the fellas. Colson, can you play it?
Up 400 yards in passing today, but I don't know if that number is truly indicative of the way the game went. I thought your defense was pretty good. What did you see?
It's
now that you've had a chance to watch tape again and go back, the 400, what are you seeing now after watching and assessing it?
Yeah, just pretty much the same thing I thought in the moment. There was just, I thought we were generating pretty good pressure. But from the most part, I'll eat it as a play caller, man. I probably got a little too conservative just with a couple injuries. But there was plenty of plays for us out there. Certainly, I think you look at how tide changes a little bit. We dropped 2 freebie interceptions that are, almost handoffs for us, and that changes the dynamic of the game completely. So in totality, yeah, the boys know. We talked about it. Like there was definitely a lot of meat left on the bone for us there. But it is, I try to keep it as realistic as possible. It is week 1, but we are returning groups, so the leash is pretty short.
Okay, my last one. I got to ask you, who has Bo Levi Mitchell's first touchdown pass ball from the CFL? Who has that?
I don't have it. I know that.
What?
So,
you don't?
But I wouldn't be shocked.
Walking Hall of Famer, you said. Walking Hall of Famer, you threw the ball away?
Yeah, at the time we didn't know. But,
okay. All right.
I'm certain Bo probably doesn't have it either. Maybe he does. I don't know. He got so many dang balls. I'm sure he'd probably get that one away to one of the kids or somebody in a foundation or something. So somebody's got it. It's definitely not me.
We were trying to find the clip. Take us through what happened on that as you caught his first touchdown pass in the CFL.
Yeah, we went to like a bigger personnel grouping where they always used to, I guess probably because I was as wide as an offensive lineman, they put me in as like an extra tight end, and it was kind of like a slam block, block down on defensive end, and then peel out to a little corner there on the goal line, because they know I ain't running too far. And Bo, I think it was a boot, maybe booted out of it and threw a lollipop up there for me because he had to. Otherwise, I wouldn't have caught it. He had a nice touch. We scored, and it was celebration. I went overboard. I went overboard with celebration. I didn't know how many of those I was going to get. So, yeah, it was a good time. Good time.
How many did you finish with in your career? Just the one?
2. No, 1 defense, 1 offense. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice work.
Your former teammate and all-around CFL insider, he's the most connected guy on this show, Charleston Hughes, has picked the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Hamilton Ticats in the Grey Cup this year in Winnipeg. So let's not let Charleston down. Spent a lot of time.
We can only hopefully control our part. I can't tell what's going to happen over there, Husey, but I'm glad he thinks of us that highly.
Awesome. Thanks for doing this today,
Thanks,
Coach. Have a good week and safe travels into Hamilton.
I appreciate you, boys, and I got to say hi, Dad. He's your guys' number one fans. Pops, hi, Pops. I'm talking to Maz and Barney. You see.
What's your dad's name? What's your dad's name?
John Mace. He's down in San Diego. He loves this show. So you got, I don't know how many watch, but you at least got one.
Nice.
We got a few. John Mace in San Diego. What a city that is. Oh, John Mace. I love the gas lamp. Who doesn't like San Diego? All right. Thanks, Coach. Have a good week.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers. That is the Coach's Show here on the Sports Cage for Steelcraft Door Products in Regina. Made in Western Canada for Western Canada, and they are close to opening their 40,000 square foot new showroom and warehouse. So if you need a garage door, they're going to have it. I'll tell you that much. Steelcraft Door Products. Love talking to Coach Mace, same as.
What? Just a good dude. Just a good dude.
We're going to have to get his dad on the show. That's what's going to have to happen.
I think instantly that is an invite that maybe we got to make happen in the next week or so, to be like, forget Coach Mace. Let's talk to John Mace, Coach's dad.
Live show in San Diego at El Gordo's Tacos in the gas lamp. Awesome. I love it. It's the Sports Cage. See, we got people listening everywhere. We're streaming at sportscage.com. You can watch the video there through our YouTube channel. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed and hits the like button. Colson always appreciates that. And, of course, we're on the home of the Riders, 620 CKRM.
What else is there to talk about? Palliser Direct Online Hail Insurance. It's that easy. Save up to 13% on your crop hail rates this year when you purchase online through Palliser Direct. Insurance has never been easier. Visit palliserinsurance.com anytime, anywhere.
Get ready, Canada. The Saskatoon two-day auction is coming June 17th and 18th, and it's shaping up to be one for the record books. This is the largest agriculture auction in Western Canada, featuring over 80 combines, 100-plus headers, 30-plus ag tractors, 8 sprayers, and 60-plus truck tractors. You'll also find grain trailers, pickups, cars, SUVs, something for everyone. Extended yard viewing all weekend prior. This is a can't-miss event for farmers, dealers, and buyers. Download the RBA app or visit rbauction.com. Ritchie Brothers, Saskatoon. Don't miss it.
At the Queen City X, presented by SaskTel, it's not just a fair, it's a chance to make memories that last. That thrilling moment when the lights come on at night and you feel like a kid again. We're celebrating all things Canadian, from our new Midway provider to all the acts on the 016 stage, where the smell of mini donuts hits you like a memory. The fair is back from July 30th to August 3rd. Follow QCX on socials. Queen City X, turning up the fun for more than 140 years.
So, since that little ding on my car last week, I don't know where to take it.
I don't even know.
That's easy. Take it to Regina Motor Products.
Who said that?
I did. Down here. I'm Terry the Tire. Regina Motor Products Chevrolet Collision Center and SGI accredited auto body repair is a full-service collision and body shop that works on all makes and models. Just submit your claim to SGI and set an appointment to get your appraisal done. Easy.
I bet you're tired after saying all that.
South at Highway 1 and 6, Albert Street. RMPChevrolet.com.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. Don't just hang a door, install a Steelcraft. Turn curb appeal into curb envy.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Steel-craft.ca.
620 CKRM and Harvard Media believe in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes and conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a comment to make about our programming or a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us on our website, 620ckrm.com, or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca.
Text CKRM 306-936-6262. Powered by Prairie Land Rentals. From skid steers to tents to power tools, anything you need to rent for that spring or summer job is at Prairie Land Rentals. Deal with the owner. 600 Albert Street. Back to Sportscage. Text 306-936-6262. 620 CKRM.
Just got word, Maz, we got some winning to do on the old program today. It's SaskTel Pick the Score. So, text in 936-6262. What do you think the score is? Riders, Tiger Cats, Saturday. Hey, who was closest last week in your little black book? Colson. But anyway, people can text in while Colson looks that up. And then closest to, if you get picked, you get tickets to the next home game. And then closest to, a chance to win a $200 SaskTel gift card.
It was 31-26 final score, right?
Yeah.
Darian, 31-21.
Man, I thought I was in there. Nah. And then we're going to have some...
you were 30-16. You were close.
Regina Red Sox tickets to give away a little bit later. So winning on the program, it's for Kellen Solar on this Monday. Maz is with me. And Colson, it's my only day doing the show this week. Woohoo! Short week guy.
You've mentioned that twice so far, and you said something in the very first segment when you sit down with your nieces and nephews to give them the life chat. Can you record the next one of those? I want to see Uncle Barney talk to the youth of Canada about the real world and what they're facing as they enter the workforce. Please, please. I will make it. I'll start my own YouTube channel just to run that.
And then universities need to hire more people like us to go and give it to them straight instead of what they're being. Anyway, that's a whole other program for another time. Western Pizza, perfect on a day like today, whether the Greek favorites you like or just get a wheel with all the generous toppings. Visit your local Western Pizza. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. We are joined from Edmonton Sports Talk. He's been on the program before. It's been a while. And TSN play-by-play, the CFL games. Dustin Nielson is with us today, and he's a busy guy. You are excited. I'm watching your feed, your social feeds, man. Now you got a Mexico cruise. I might have to hop in that, to be honest with you. I've always wanted to do a cruise. I've never done a cruise.
It's gonna be an amazing time. It's actually just, we're not cruising. It's through Expedia Cruises. We're just going to Mexico for 7 days.
Okay.
And it was funny because we announced it on our show this morning, and while we were announcing it, the girl who was in announcing it, we could hear her phone buzzing. Like, people were calling to book the trip. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah, I usually midwinter don't mind a little getaway. So this is going to be awesome.
If it sells out, then maybe we do a Sasky one and we kind of go together.
Merge together at Planet Hollywood, Cancun.
Just a bunch of flats of Pilsner somehow, some way, and we'll make it go. Hey, what was your take on it? Did it come as a surprise, Kadeem Carey signing with the Riders?
I mean, as soon as AJ Ouellette looked like he was hurt, I thought it's going to be automatic. And I'm pretty sure Kadeem Carey thought, if I'm patient enough, I'll probably have a job by week 2 or 3 in the Canadian Football League, with the way that this, not just this league, but football in general goes through running backs like crazy. So I'm sure, it's a good landing spot. Kadeem Carey, I think still he's 32, but he's got a lot of game left still. And the moment you saw AJ Ouellette kind of look the way he did, I think most of us probably thought there'd at least be a phone call to Kadeem Carey. So I like the fit. Mind you, Bertrand Hudon did a pretty good job filling in that situation. Yeah. I was extremely impressed with the way that he was able to kind of pick up and keep going in what was a pretty impressive victory for the Riders in week 1.
Dustin, I think a lot of us tuned in last week expecting to hear you doing a West game, but all of a sudden you end up in Montreal doing the game there where there's no more air horns. Was that legit? I didn't hear any. I was like, Dustin's, first of all, he's out east, and there's no air horns for this Montreal game. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess I'll address. So in the last few years, I haven't gone west of Winnipeg. And, we're trying to do some new things with the CFL broadcast this year. And one of those things is kind of getting all of our crews all across the country a little bit more. So I haven't been in Montreal for 3 years. The last time I was there, the air horns were there. And you know what? They don't need the air horns. I'll just say the atmosphere in that place was absolutely terrific. I like I said, I haven't been there in about 3 years. I used to go, I think the last time I was in Montreal was when our crew was still Cuthbert, Rod Black, and then me. And I would kind of just sort of fill in where those guys couldn't make it. So I was out to Montreal a few times then. But it was an incredible atmosphere on Friday night. I mean, it helps when your team did what they did, and you got the new quarterback in there taking over, Davis Alexander, now 5-0. They got some great weapons there too. But it was a really perfect Friday night in Montreal, unless of course you're an Argos fan. But I thought it was incredible. I think I'm back in Montreal once or twice more this season, so looking forward to that.
That's a good game. Where are you going this week?
I got 2 this week. I'm going to be in Winnipeg for their home opener on Thursday against the Lions, which should be a great game. And then I'm actually flying out to Hamilton to do the Ticats and the Riders with suits on Saturday.
Perfect. Going into the season, what was the most intriguing storyline for you? Was it the Elks, or was it the bounce back in BC? What was it for you?
I mean, here in Edmonton, obviously a lot of talk about the Elks. Didn't go over too well in week 1, so we'll see how that goes from there. I think that's a good question. I mean, the Nathan Rourke thing, could Nathan Rourke pick up where he left off a couple of years ago with a full off season? Certainly looked like he did, at least in the second half. I thought he was incredible in the second half. There's a lot of reasons to rip the Elks in that game, but I think sometimes you just got to tip your hat to Nathan Rourke and say they had a 103-yard touchdown drive in which 3 of the plays were him just sort of scrambling and making some magic. So that was pretty good. And then, I thought it was interesting with the quarterbacks that we have across the league right now. Vernon Adams, in Calgary, Trevor Harris, if he stays healthy, he's an MOP guy. Zach Collaros gets another deal. So how much is left in the tank with Zach as well? And then, out east with going to Davis Alexander, having MBT as the backup. Chad Kelly's not healthy. Drew Brown in his second year. Bo Levi still obviously putting up some big numbers. So I think the quarterbacks across the league and really the overall parity. I don't think there's an easy game any week in the Canadian Football League. I would be very surprised if you see any, just from a betting perspective, if you see any spreads over 7 games in the first 6-7 weeks of the season, I'll be stunned.
Hammer that. That's what Coach Mace just said.
Yeah, take the dogs, man, all the time. We were talking about it today. This week, it probably wouldn't even be crazy to bet on all 4 underdogs this week to win on the money line.
Yeah, Monday.
The road teams. Basically, we said the road teams because we're expecting most of them to be close to an underdog. But it's going to be a crazy season, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Saturday in BC, I thought Buck Pierce and Nathan Rourke looked to be on the same page. They're moving him around, and then they look good. Trey Ford at times looked dangerous until they kept him in the pocket and made him a passer. And then all of a sudden they made him look very pedestrian. Obviously, that's the knock on him. He can make the crazy video game plays, but if you make him a pure pocket passer, that's where sometimes it breaks down. Is that something Mark Killam and Jordan Maximic can correct over the next few weeks, or is this going to be like a season-long thing, in your opinion?
Man, for the sake of this city and the Elks fan base, I hope it's not a season-long thing. I said this morning on our show, Trey Ford can do things that no other quarterback is capable of doing with his athleticism. But he also can't do things in the pocket that pretty much every other starting quarterback can. So you need to get that level up with Trey. And if he can just get to reliable pocket passer when needed, it should all come together. But, we were talking around the office a little bit today, and when they kept in the pocket, offensive line wasn't great. I mean, they were missing Brett Boyko as a right tackle. Not to have too many excuses, but, either they need to, you know what they should probably do, guys? They should probably run the ball. Last year, when they got things going, they were rushing the ball for 130, 140, 150, 100 today. They had a couple 200-yard rushing games last year. In fact, I think Leak went off for over 200 against you guys. Did he? I'm pretty sure I called that game.
Yeah, thanks
so
for
they
that.
need to. Yeah. They ran the ball 10 times. Yeah, sorry about that. But they ran the ball 10 times. And it was a close enough game that you didn't have to abandon the run. So this team is not going to have success because of Trey Ford sitting in the pocket and slinging it. They're going to have success running the ball, playing defense, and then Trey needing to come up big when they need him to. So now they go on a bye, which isn't the end of the world in week 2, but then they get Montreal in week 3 at home. And Montreal is really good. So we'll see how that plays out.
Last question on the CFL and the Elks. Any, amplified buzz in the city? New owner, new season. Are you feeling it?
100%. Yeah, 100%. We've had people text into our show and say, and we talk about the Elks a lot on Edmonton Sports Talk. We push them pretty heavily, which is, I think, more. I mean, obviously, you guys do that with the Riders, but I think more of the media markets across this league need to talk about their CFL teams significantly more. And we've been doing that a lot, and there's been a lot of buzz. But like, yeah, you know what? I like where we're going. Chris Morris is back. I've got season tickets this year. But the problem is that you get all this off-season buzz, and it's going to be good. And it's not like if they start poorly, they're going to fire everybody. They just hired everybody. But to build on this off-season momentum, you can't start 0-4, 0-5 or something like that, right? So, as patient as you want to be with everybody who's new, there's not a lot of room left for patience here. So, for the sake of the organization, picking up a couple of wins in the first month and a half of the year will go a long way.
And even if I tell people all the time, even if you're like not like a hardo CFL, just watch it and gamble on it, because gambling makes everything better.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I got into football in general 20 years ago. It's just, and you know what? And I would say this because I got 2 kids; they're 8 and 10. My kids go to football games. Yeah, they want to see the Elks win, or my son earmuffs everybody. He's been a Bombers fan for a few years. But they still just go and have a good time.
Yeah.
Kids just want to go and have a good time at a ball game. It doesn't matter. So, I mean, that's one thing that I think they need to continue to push. And I mean, the tailgate experience here at Edmonton is top notch right now. It's really fun. So that's a good time too.
Not so much here.
If Ed Hervey were to grade Edmonton Sports Talk, would he call Lieutenant Eric a superstar? Or is that just a non-starter right now? Okay.
No,
just need to know that before you move on from the CFL.
I think he has to. I think his superstar comments are probably reserved for the league. But we got a bunch of superstars at Edmonton Sports Talk, so hopefully he would.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
Dustin Nielson from Edmonton Sports Talk joining us, and of course from TSN, and he's calling 2 CFL games this week. Let's shift to hockey. Edmonton, we talked about it, I don't know, ad nauseum on this show on how I was heavy Los Angeles. I was all after 2 games. I'm like, oh, am I going to win the Keniston Super Draft this year? And then now it's like embarrassing. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins game time decision. Hyman's out. I don't think that really matters. The way this team is just seem to be, they're tough to play against. Skinner's playing well. I guess in game 2 people can critique him a bit. But what's the buzz like there? And tickets are through the roof compared to last year.
Yeah, it's. I mean, you have to be loaded to go to an Oilers game in the Cup final. I don't know how. Like when I see people there with a family, I don't how do you pay for your kids? It doesn't make any sense. I took Marshall to awesome game 3 against Vegas. That first period was the fights, but one of our clients gave me those tickets. Like I wasn't paying to sit lower bowl. It's impossible. So the buzz here is terrific. And you are right. Like I think going into this series, I picked them to win in 6. I said it'd probably be a split in Edmonton, probably be a split in Florida, come back in Edmonton and win game 5, and then Connor McDavid has another opportunity to win the Stanley Cup, and I just don't think that's something he's not going to finish this time around. So, but there's no shame in losing the Florida Panthers either. Like, there's no shame in losing to the Panthers, and there'd be no shame in the Panthers losing to the Oilers. These 2 teams are both incredible. They were last year. They have been again in the playoffs so far. They missed Zach Hyman. I mean, everybody's going to miss a guy who was hitting literally everything that moves for the first 3 rounds of the playoffs. And if Nuge can't go tonight, they'll miss him. We did have on our noon hour show, the Oil Stream, because Ola did report that if Nuge can't go tonight, they're certain he's going to be able to go for game 4.
Okay.
So it's not like he's going to be out for the rest of the series. But they've had guys step up along the way, like some guys that scored some big goals for them. And then Connor McDavid's just a wizard with the puck. The goal he set up the other day for Draisaitl, going around Barkov and Ekblad, like it wasn't a 4th liner and a 3rd pair. That was ridiculous. So he's a man on a mission, and we'll see if Bobrovsky's able to deny him of that.
That was hard to believe. I tweeted it on the Sportscage. It's like it was like the adult safe game at 11 o'clock in D3, but it was 2 of the best players in the world, like that he went around. It was sorry, Mace.
I coach U11. I don't know if I could have pulled that off against 2 of my U11 kids.
Yeah.
And he's doing it against a guy who's won multiple Selkies and a defenseman who's going to get $9 million in the offseason. It's ridiculous.
So good.
If anything, I mean, the Oilers, I don't think have played anybody this physical since round one against the Kings. How do you think they're holding up against this physical Florida Panther team? Because both teams are hitting everything that moves, it seems.
Yeah, I think they're holding up pretty good so far. I mean, kind of give the Panthers their own medicine a little bit. Somebody did point out on our show this morning on a text message, it's like you can't get too carried away with their game, right? Like you can't get so physical that you're forgetting what you do well, which is move the puck and skate and do those types of things. But that's Sam Bennett, man.
I know.
I could see how he would suck in a lot of guys to maybe cross the line. He's been incredible so far in these playoffs. And, the Oilers haven't done a good job against him just yet. And we'll see if that continues tonight.
Okay, we got about a minute and a half. I got to ask you one thing because Maz and I talk about it all the time. And I forget it's YEG waiver. What's with the fighting? What's with the Oiler on Oiler crime and the people just throwing down in Edmonton on each other?
McDavid fighting.
Yeah, I've thought about this a lot. And I think what it is when people in their early 20s get drunk, they just want to fight people. Like it doesn't matter what
I thought that went away with the new generation. I thought that's more our generation.
I would argue that the new generation is a little soft. But alcohol is undefeated in these situations. So, I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I don't know
alcohol is undefeated.
Everybody's so happy. I don't know why you would punch somebody who's also cheering for your team. The only thing I can think of is you're a little inebriated and you're not thinking straight.
That's like, I get it. If you saw a dude in a Vegas jersey, maybe Panther, but it's Oiler on Oiler crime, and there's women involved, there's random fans, people are catching strays.
I could see
security guards are taking tumbles.
Because it's the cup. Right?
I can
Colson,
see it.
Could you cut together some fights with Dustin's because it's the cup audio underneath? Just do it.
With Can we get Triumph playing in the background too? Lay it on the line.
Oh my God!
I'll bang out an AI song for it. That's what I'll do.
Dusty, thanks so much. I know you're busy. Love the show. Love what you're doing. Let's make this a regular thing every couple of weeks here.
Yeah, for sure, man. Just fire me a text. If I can make it work, we'll do it.
Right on.
And don't forget on Saturday to throw a little extra love this way in Hamilton. All right, Bo Levi plays pretty well against us historically, so whatever you can do to talk us up, we need it. Thanks.
We'll see what we can do for you.
Right on. Dustin Nielson, Edmonton Sports Talk. It's with Lieutenant Eric in the morning. Listen to it all the time. It's good, clean fun. Eric is a Sasky guy too, so gets it. And then of course calls the games on TSN. He's going to Winnipeg and the Hammer this week in Montreal. That's a good gig out of the gate to do that one. Little Crescent Street, Molson Export. Hear you. Love it. Okay, we got to go. Colson's telling me we got to go to break here. We got to come back with the ticker. Play and pick the score. A lot of rider scores coming in. 936-6262. It's a Sports Cage on the home of local sports and the Riders, 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitco's at 2. The pregame show's at 4. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by Young's Equipment, GMS Insurance, and PlayNow.com. Stream every moment of Rider football at Sportscage.com.
She was looking for fun in the sun. He wanted 2 for 1. Called a sassy tour de force that will change the way you look. This summer's biggest eyewear blockbuster is the You Pick the Sales Sale at Future Vision.
Ooh, how do I choose?
Will she get a great deal on prescription sunglasses? Will he find 2 fashion frames for 1 low price? You Pick the Sales Sale. Now playing at
Future Vision. Where'd you get those eyes?
A proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2024.
She's a very busy summer coming up at 2sauctioneers.ca in Indian Head. Next week, we got a great one-owner collector sale with knives, toys, other odd and unusual items. Coming up on July the 4th, we got a big sale at Moose Jaw for Glenn and Roger Blager with skid steers, Dodge truck, tractors, and much more items. Our big summer equipment sale happens here on July the 8th. We got a yard full of stuff, and there's still room for a little bit more. Easy to register, easy to bid. Check it out at 2sauctioneers.ca, online auction house in Indian Head.
Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. Apply now.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50-50 is presented by ISC.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
If your garage door is running a little rough, you don't need to be talked into something that you don't need.
Sir, what you need is the new gigantic-esque, voluminous, astronomical, ginormous, gargantuan, exquisite air garage.
Just call Busy Bee Doors, the local experts who have been in business for many, many doors. They can fix or replace any commercial or garage door.
Wait. With me, you get a little garage door keychain, please.
Busy Bee Doors, the garage door specialists.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals. For all your hot water needs, call on Reliance Heath today.
All right, Riders, did you miss it? They signed Kadeem Carey. He's in the fold. East Division All-Star last year. 1,060 yards, 7 touchdowns over 18 games. Also 37 receptions for 356. Solid pickup by the Riders. And as Maz and I said, who cares about the cap and how it worked? He's here. That's all that matters. They also bring back linebacker Braxton Hill, and they brought in American offensive lineman Darius Washington. If you heard Coach Mace earlier in the program, he likes what Washington brings on the offensive line. Riders, of course, in Hamilton on Saturday. NHL tonight, Oilers-Panthers, they continue in Sunrise, Florida. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, game-time decision. Jeff Skinner is ready to go, though. Both are going to take warm-ups, allegedly. Western Canadian Baseball League, no games tonight. Regina 6-3, good for third in the East, 2 games back of Medicine Hat. Blue Jays are in St. Louis tonight, starting a series there. Jays are 8-2 in their last 10 games. And in the NBA, Pacers, Oklahoma City tied at 1. Game 3 is Wednesday. That is your Sports Ticker in Hour 1 for our friends at Reliance Heath Water Heater Rentals, keeping you in hot and soft water. You can always call on Reliance. Hour 1 in the books. Hour 2 coming up. Maz is with me. Hopefully Dave Thomas joins us. It is the Sports Cage. Thanks to everyone streaming. Colson saying, please hammer that like button. He gets paid. The more likes you hit, the more he gets paid, allegedly. And for streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
From the towers to the tractors, country's greatest hits. 620 CKRM, a Harvard media station.
It's 4 o'clock. Good afternoon. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM news. Officials say recent rain has helped keep raging wildfires in Saskatchewan at bay. Public Safety Minister Tim McLeod says more than 10,000 people remain displaced, but some in Pelican Narrows and Wayakwin are returning home.
Recently, we've received some very beneficial rains and cooperative weather, and that coupled with significant efforts from our firefighters and our frontline staff we're resulting in progress and some positive developments.
McLeod says Saskatchewan plans to receive aid from the federal government to set up temporary shelters when communities start to rebuild. Reel has announced Rick Bennett as its new president and CEO, effective June 16th. With over 2 decades of international leadership experience, Bennett has helped venues across the world grow through change and to rebuild public trust. Board Chair Jamie Bolt says he's the right leader to bring focus and energy to Reel's future. Bennett says he's excited to join Reel and build on its current momentum. His early work will focus on financial stability, employee support, and community partnerships. Reel also thanked interim CEO Trent Fraser for his steady leadership during the transition. Police say a teen has been charged in a stabbing that happened Sunday evening in North Regina. A man with stab wounds was found on Arneson Street and taken to hospital. Officers soon spotted a suspect who matched the description and arrested him without incident. A knife was recovered during the search. A 17-year-old is charged with aggravated assault, carrying a concealed weapon, and 2 counts of failing to follow court orders. He appeared in Provincial Youth Court today. Saskatchewan is inviting nurse practitioners to express interest in delivering publicly funded primary care. This program supports full-scope practice and teamwork between health professionals. Expressions of interest are due by midnight on July 6th. Selected nurse practitioners will sign a contract with the Ministry of Health and act as independent contractors. Health Minister Jeremy Cockrell says this step will improve access to care across the province. Virtual information sessions will be held June 17th and 19th. The plan supports the province's goal of better care access by 2028. The head of Canada's main defence lobby group says it's a historic day for the country. That, as Prime Minister Mark Carney says Ottawa will finally meet its NATO spending commitments this year. Christian Cianfrani has long called for Canada to live up to what it's promised its allies for years, that it would spend 2% of GDP on defence. But she says for Carney's plan to work, the slow and risk-averse federal bureaucracy has to change how it works to actually get money out the door.
Will the machinery of the government underneath the Prime Minister be able to go from flash to bang and make this happen? That is a real risk. They will need to dig deep. There will need to be very creative solutions.
Carney's announcement today comes 2 weeks ahead of a major NATO summit where world leaders are expected to commit an even bigger defense spending pledge of 5% of GDP. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620ckrm.com. Your weather is next.
Your only defense is a good fence. At Down to Earth Fencing, they supply high-quality Canadian-made PVC materials. So whether you're a contractor or a homeowner, your fence will be able to stand up to our extreme cold, heat, and winds. They'll install for you, or you can go the DIY route, and they'll even rent you post pounders. There's no staining or painting, and it won't brittle or fade. With multiple colors, styles, and textures. Visit downtooearthfencing.com for a quote, or go see them at 2209 Red Bear Avenue in Regina. Down to Earth Fencing, the most logical choice.
Honky Tonk legend Mark Chestnut. Celebrating 35 years of music. Joined by special guest Aaron Goodvin. June 28th at Temple Garden Center. Tickets on sale now at Temple Garden Center box office or online at sasktix.ca.
Weather brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks. 1865 McCarra Street. Weather tonight, partly cloudy sky, possibility of some smoke in the area, and a low of 12 degrees. Tomorrow, sunshine. A little bit smoky at times again, a high of 23. Wind out of the northwest, 15 to 30. Tomorrow night, clear, low down to 8 degrees. Looking ahead at Wednesday, partly sunny skies and a high of 23. Again, wind shifting from the southeast from 10 to 20 kilometers an hour. And Thursday, partly sunny skies and a high of 20.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line X. Make your truck complete. 1865 McCarra Street.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50-50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 5050 is presented by ISC.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, installing solar in residential and commercial buildings for 35 years. Local and trusted. Kellen Solar. Visit kellensolar.com. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Thanks for making time on this Monday. Like he said, for Kellen Solar, Maz is with me, and Colson. We are doing SaskTel Pick the Score, 936-6262. From how I'm reading it
this week
so far, lots of rider. Everyone that's texted in so far. I'm not going to say everyone has riders. Everyone's picking a close game. I think that's safe.
And that's if it was the Hamilton Ticats minus Bo Levi Mitchell. I'm all riders all day. But Bo Levi Mitchell, over his career, no matter who he's played with, Stamps Ticats, has done well against the riders. Hamilton played okay in Calgary, but not great. They're probably going to want to clean some of that up. Kenny Lawler was even dropping passes Saturday in Calgary, which Kenny doesn't usually do. I feel that if the Riders don't get out to a good start and Hamilton, because they're so aggressive, if we're playing catch-up on the road, I don't like it. I keep seeing 29-26 Hamilton, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I don't know if I'm ready for that.
The over-under is 50.5 where I'm looking right now.
50, so 29-26.
I take that all day. I take that over.
Over?
Yeah. I take the over. For sure. I'm going to wait until Thursday afternoon, though, to figure that one out, because let's see, is Kadeem Carey going to play? Is AJ Ouellette, are they going double trouble in the backfield? Whatever, we can come up with some name for those two. Kean Schaefer-Baker, probably going to be in the lineup. I don't know. I'm just going to wait on that one. It's an unreal week to just gamble on things, because you got the Oilers and Panthers tonight. You have I wagered on I went basketball. I went OKC money line yesterday. I'm like, there is no way they're losing game 2 against Indiana, and they slapped them around. And then it's U.S. Open week. It's U.S. Open week.
Back to basketball for a second. I tried watching that. From what the game is and how we were taught to play it and how the kids are taught to play it today, and the fact that I can't remember who it was for Indiana, must have taken about 7 steps into the key before throwing up. I'm like, the pro game just resembles nothing like the amateur game. And I'm like, they just don't call traveling. I guess it's so different. That's why I can't watch it.
I like the ending, obviously, like always, like basketball, the last 3 minutes, although they could take 16 timeouts each, can be really intense and awesome. Because this is a sports program, I watched the highlights of it, and let's be honest, we aren't big tennis guys. I love table tennis. I love badminton. I've tried to play tennis. I'm just not good at it. And I haven't played pickleball yet. And I'm sure once I start playing it, I'll get injured doing it. But did you see that Carlos Alcaraz over Jan Sinner, that French Open final went 5 hours and 29 minutes. So I'm driving 4.5 hours tonight. These guys played tennis for 5 hours and 29 minutes. I think it was the second longest major ever.
I know.
It's hard to fathom, man.
So So my mother-in-law loves tennis, and she loves watching it on tennis.
How
and
are the
she
balloons?
Hates still up 2 weeks in, and they're
Nice.
they're still filled with helium. I
Okay,
checked
good.
on Saturday, but they're in Europe right now on a cruise. Oh, speaking of Panic at the Disco, how about Panic at the In-Laws? Maybe I'll save that for later at the week. So she loves watching tennis, but she hates the fact, like, so this guy's name, what's his real name again? The Alcatraz guy?
Carlos Alcaraz.
Carlos Alcaraz. So to me, I'm messing around. I'm calling him Carlos Alcatraz. Doesn't, if it's Roger Federer, no matter who it was over the years, I just will always call them by the wrong name just to get her goat. And so I'm like, ooh, Alcatraz. And I saw that yesterday. I'm like, ooh, Alcatraz, dude. That was a marathon. It was a marathon.
5 hours and 29. 5 hours
That's a
and
lot of
29
tennis.
minutes of doing anything is long, is hard. Driving, sitting.
Marriage.
Yeah. Like if someone said, just even sit with your significant other for 5 hours and 29 minutes.
Oh, man.
No technology. Nothing.
Dude.
If you had to, you know how hard that would be to do? I would start going through material, trying to, and she doesn't laugh at a lot of my jokes anymore because she's heard them all so many times. And I'm like, I need to call Tram.
Yeah.
He'll laugh.
Yeah.
Is that all you got? 5 hours and 29 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if a football game went 5 hours and 29 minutes. I know there's been some long, like, you know, going to a college game is long. It's not the actual game is long. It's just that experience, like going to a college football game is like 4 hours long. It's almost a little bit too much unless you're inebriated and you're younger and you can do all that. But 5 hours and 29 minutes, like, I guess, like that Oiler-Panther game too, in the overtime and all that, that's a good watch. This French Open final, that's a good watch. It'd be hard to watch for 5 hours and 29 minutes. I'll go, I do it for golf though, I guess, for the most part. Like this
Canadian
Oakmont
Open
this
yesterday.
week.
Yeah. Well, even yesterday, I tuned in at the right time. I was flipping channels. I'm like, oh, they're on the 18th. Oh, dude birdies, it's a tie. And I'm like, all right. And then they go play the same hole, the 18th, 4 times over for a winner.
I didn't like that.
All right.
Canadian Open. I'm like, go play a couple different holes and then come back.
And stop chanting, let's go Oilers. You're in Toronto. Like, and then I'm seeing Mitch Marner's going to the Florida Panthers in the offseason. I love that.
I like we talked about, I can't see him staying anywhere near Toronto.
No.
Like, or in Canada for that instance. Yeah, no. We're gonna go.
Speaking of going away, because you're going golfing, right? That's why you're not here for the rest of the week.
Correct.
Now, where are you golfing, and do you have a chance
Waskesiu.
of winning this? Okay,
No,
you're going
it's
to
all
Waskesiu.
flighted. It's all flighted. It's a match play golf tournament. It's all flighted. So there's a guy today that tied the course record. So he'll be in the championship flight, and then there's the open part. I'll be in that. I'll muck it around in the 3-4 flight. Probably lose out Thursday. Play Little Texas, what might have been. Drink some whiskey and come home. Actually, the boy's going with me. He's going to go fish and caddy this week. Brother-in-laws are up there. We're going to, be one with nature.
He's skipping school?
He's got everything buttoned up. It's grade 8. It's the last few weeks of grade 8. You know what that's like.
It is that time of year, and if you're in the education business,
like wheel in the TV and the VCR, throw in some Switchback or What's New or whatever we used to watch
at school.
Yeah, Slim Goodbody.
If you're in education, you've had it. Like, you're done, you're frazzled, you're burnt out. If you're a parent, save the email. Don't email a teacher. Don't email anybody about anything. Just be done. All right. They're trying to write report cards. Trust me, that was going on at our house this weekend, and I'm looking and I'm like, the kid's 5. What can you say? Why are they taking social studies when they're 5? It's grade 1. It should be reading, writing, and math. That's it. Social studies, health. What are we talking here?
Yeah. You know where I went? I went, remember Saskatoon had Folk Fest. In Regina, it's called Mosaic. the gathering of cultures. It is awesome. Like we went Saturday. Daughter's like, let's go to India. I'm like, butter chicken, let's roll. So we went India to Chinese to Ukrainian, and then the Greek one. The lineup was like an hour and 10 minutes. I was craving Greek food, so I had India, Ukraine, and Chinese. I had chicken balls, pierogies, butter chicken. At 3 a.m, I wake up not feeling great. And I'm like, yeah, because I shouldn't have maybe thought that. And then I tried a different beer at each one of those. I'm like, oh.
Well, that's always good.
Mexican. We went to Mexican as well, which they were all out of Mexican beer. But you know what they had at the Mexican Pavilion? They had little stands where these two vendors had like the Mexican, when you go to Mexican stores of candy, Mexican chips, Mexican pop, all that stuff. They had all that. And I was like, this is so what a great idea. But yeah, there was a lot going on, a lot of people, and the lineups and I was like, man, I'm not standing an hour and 10 minutes for a pita. Although I really want a Greek pita, I just can't do that. No. The Ukrainian one there's a sausage gate at the Ukrainian one. My wife showed me the social post because the Ukrainian co-op posted how they always have supplied the sausage for the Kiev Ukrainian pavilion. I call it Kiev. And I'm Ukrainian, and you are too. And then this year they went with like Harvest or something, so it was like uproar. You don't mess with the Ukrainians' kubasa. And so there were shots fired on both parties. The social media thing, come and get it here. We don't have it. And then and it was pre-boxed kind of things this year, which I didn't like. I'm like, no, I want to see the baba scooping them onto the plate and onions. Like it was all prepackaged. Meh. That's not Ukraine Pavilion that I grew up. That's not your dad's Ukraine Pavilion.
Exactly. Like if you're getting a plate of pierogies and you throw an extra 1 or 2 on there, I'm not disappointed. And don't shortchange me on the sour cream. Listen, I know the squeeze bottle where it comes out in the straight line. That's the hip trend. No. I want a giant spoon. It needs to be like a soup ladle in the sour cream on the top. Do not shortchange what's happening here.
And that sour cream isn't true Ukrainian sour cream if it doesn't have some margarine and onions floating in there because the spoon's been used to scoop a little bit of everything.
The spoon doesn't need to be clean on my half.
If they were having borscht, there could be some red, beet-looking things in it too. It's all good.
I remember as a kid going with my parents, and we had some Dutch friends, and so we went to the Dutch one, and people were taking pickled herrings, out of this giant barrel and just like sliding them down the gullet, just like straight in, like straight up, and then straight down. Never been more grossed out in my life. I would never eat that to begin with. Yeah. But to watch anybody eat pickled herrings, sardine, anything, but that was delicacy. They were pulling them out. They put them on a piece of wax paper. People just pick them up, 2 fingers, straight down. No thanks.
Okay, that's a Mosaic update. Dave Thomas is standing by, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. We'll get to some more Rider news. Also, text line, looking at it. SaskTel picked the score on the Prairie Land Rentals text line, 936-6262. Also, Maz, at some point in the next hour, we got one text in here. They want an update on the Maz on your neighbor. They haven't heard a Maz neighbor story in a while, so we'll have to get into that. It is the Sportscage, streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Been there, done that. We get it. And we've got something great for you. The Great Bin Giveaway on 620 CKRM. We're giving you the chance to win a 100-ton fertilizer bin from Core Grain. All you have to do is be listening to find out which sponsor locations you can enter at, all across southern Saskatchewan. You'll also have some chances to qualify during Saskag Today with Ryan Young. The grand prize draw will take place at Ag in Motion this July. Don't miss out on your chance to have a shot at the Great Bin Giveaway.
Brought to you by Ag Direct Hail Insurance, Zipperlock Building Company, McDougall Auctioneers, Redvers Agricultural Supply, and 620 CKRM.
Burning the candle at both ends? What a weird saying. What if there's no wick at the bottom end? So many questions. But what I don't question is where I get my tires. When your vehicle needs the right tires, see your local Cooper tire dealer. Your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires. They have a durable tread that helps resist cutting, cranking, and tearing that occurs on rough trails. Ask your local Cooper tire dealer about Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires today.
I'm Bruce Lowe with Ag Direct Hail Insurance. Back in 2014, we launched Ag Direct with the goal of changing the crop hail insurance industry by combining broker-free rates with superior customer service and professional claims handling. Thanks to the support of hard-working farm families, Ag Direct Hail is now one of the largest and fastest growing crop hail insurance providers on the prairies. Visit agdirecthail.com or call us toll-free. We appreciate your business.
It'll be take me out to the ball game or take me down to the rink before you know it. And Extreme Hockey and Sport will have you ready for everything this season. You'll be all set for the ball diamond with team kits, bats, gloves, accessories, and training products in stock. And of course, they've got everything to get you geared up for spring hockey. Whatever your spring sport is, Extreme Hockey has you covered. 1425 McIntyre Street and the Pro Shop, conveniently located at the Cooperator Center.
If you've got a Steelcraft garage door, you've got a door with parts manufactured and assembled right here in Canada. A door with better insulation and seal, plus a warranty you're probably never going to use. Combined with a LiftMaster opener, it's the right choice. And if you don't have a Steelcraft garage door, you should get one. And a LiftMaster opener. 100% made by Canadians for Canadians. Steady, tariff-free pricing and great quality, no matter what.
Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door, Steelcraft door. We offer more.
Since 1942, Unifor 594 has safely served the community and the ever-changing energy sector. We are the unionized workers at the Co-op Refinery in Regina and the Co-op Ethanol Complex in Belle Plaine. We are process operators, tradespeople, lab techs, warehouse workers, tank car loaders, administration staff, and so much more. Unifor 594 workers are also your neighbors, your friends, your volunteers, your community. Unifor 594. Safety is our business.
Farm Boy Realty has 5 quarters of land in a block for sale east of Tyvant. 3 quarters are listed on the Morrisky farmland tender until June 17th. 2 quarters are available on MLS listing. All quarters are in hay and have been seeded in the last 5 years. This is your chance to buy a 5-quarter block of land for hay or grain production. Call Guy at Farm Boy Realty, 434-8857. That's 434-8857. FarmBoyRealty.com.
On the farm, dirt doesn't just get under your fingernails. It runs through your veins. Your equipment is just as tough. You bought it for its rugged dependability and efficient operation. To keep your machinery running as good as the day you bought it, you want genuine AGCO parts, fluids, and filters from Nick Service. Their friendly parts staff has what your equipment needs to keep it running at the top of its game. Keep it genuine at Nick Service, your local genuine AGCO parts headquarters.
This is Sportscage. Be part of the show. Call 936-6262 or toll free 1-866-767-0620. 620 CKRM.
The Saskatchewan Roughrider Foundation 50/50, also a sponsor of the Coaches Show. We had Coach Mace on earlier. We're going to rerun that in hour 3, of course. The giveaway this week. So you go to rider5050.ca. Then you qualify for the early bird prize up until Wednesday. You'll love this, Maz. This week, the early bird prize, Calgary Stampede package. It includes flights for 2 from Saskatchewan to Calgary, 2 nights hotel accommodations, Sheraton Hotel or similar, round-trip transfers from the airport, admission to the Calgary Stampede, Stampede Parade, rodeo chuck wagon races, grandstand evening show, and the fireworks finale. If you don't want to go to Calgary, get all cowboyed up and buckled up, you can take $3,600 cash. Rider5050.ca.
If you've ever been to Stampede and tried to buy tickets to the rodeo, man, the good seats, they're expensive. Really expensive. It's
I've only been to the Stampede once. It was with you. We went on a pub crawl on a bunch of school buses. I smuggled in alcohol. I got in a fight with some girl because she was just just beaking everybody on the bus. I had cargo pants on. That's how I snuck in those vodka drinks onto the bus. But then no bathrooms. That was a loop too. I don't care if I ever go back and do that again. That's for sure. I don't have that in me. That was younger days.
The Rider Foundation 50-50, if you do win, it's the more civilized way to take in Stampede. Yeah. You'll be paying, or you won't be paying, but you'll have tickets to all the really nice stuff that costs money to get in. You won't see a lot of porta potties in that situation. And civilized people, unlike Barney in cargo pants, smuggling liquor into bars.
More onto buses. But yeah, probably into the odd bar too. Hey, it was a different time. Whatever. Throw myself under the bus.
And in this economy, I'd be smuggling in everything with how ridiculous cost is these days.
I wouldn't be drinking anymore, so it would be awesome. I'd be doing other things. Let's go out on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Perfect. All the generous toppings on a pizza pie from Western Pizza, or the Greek favorites, the Greek salad, souvlaki. Heck, a Greek pita that I wouldn't wait in line an hour and a half for the other night, but still craving one. David, you got something on your mind. I know that look. You got something to fire at us.
I truly don't. I'm just getting hungry. It's your turn, I guess, to turnabout is fair play, right?
Kadeem Carey is a Saskatchewan Roughrider. Looking at the text line, Maz called it on Thursday. But did you see this one coming?
I wasn't. I wouldn't have called it on Thursday by any means, but again, I don't know what the extent of AJ Ouellette's injury, but anytime you can make your roster better and deeper, I think you do, and that's, in my opinion, exactly what Jeremy O'Day has done by bringing in Kadeem Carey, a guy that has won. I heard what Coach Mace was saying, and he hit the nail right on the head. You've made your roster better today.
Sorry, Maz, I thought you were going to go.
Dave, when you and I chatted on Friday, I had mentioned the Kadeem Carey thing because a lot of people don't know about AJ Ouellette, and because we think it was a head injury. From when you watch the replay, it looked like a head injury. No, they're saying upper body. No one has said anything. You always have to be extra cautious with that. Thomas Bertrand Houdon came in and did admirably. It's funny. What were the final numbers for Houdon? Because there's two sets of numbers out of that game, and we said it with Mace. It didn't seem like the Renegades or the Red Blacks, whatever Ottawa's going by these days, threw for 400 yards against the Riders. It didn't seem like that. And to me, Bertrand Houdon, was it 60 or 70 yards? Because the way he was running, I'm like, dude's got to be like over 100.
He had the 40. It just
seemed like every time he
the 40, whatever it was, came back. So they would have been over 100 or darn near close, right, Dave?
Absolutely. Yeah, and the other thing to keep in mind is that he also had a bunch of receiving yards as well, right? Yeah. That's why it would seem over 100, and I'm with you on that. But going back, watching and listening to the game again, wow, it sure did seem like they had over 400 yards when you start piecing the drives that Drew Brown put together. And again, they weren't the big grand slam home run. It was just being effective and efficient within the offense and moving the ball effectively in the first and fourth quarters. And again, when you can't run the ball, only putting up 30 yards rushing, you're going to put some passing yardage up. I don't think 400, though, was exactly what anybody wanted to see.
It seemed like the Red Blacks played a great first and fourth quarter. They completely deserted the building in the second and third, and that's what cost them. Like, Barney, I heard you talking on Friday with Sharky. That first drive, when they marched down the field, I was like, oh no. Drew Brown's looking like Tom Brady out here slinging the ball around, and we didn't have an answer. Eventually we did, but I'm like, if he stays hot like this all game, we're in trouble. But it cooled, and then the Rider D-line kicked in. But then you're counting, and the same thing, Roland Milligan, all of a sudden he's out of the game. What's going to happen there? Is that a head issue? Is it a neck? What's happening? Last Monday we said, hey, you know who we felt bad that got cut, who played a really good game, was Braxton Hill. Well, good news today, Braxton Hill, your defensive player of the game for preseason week 2 against the Bombers. He's back in Rider Nation, Dave.
No, he is. And again, you've added depth pieces and you've got the ability to make your roster stronger. Tomorrow, when the team is back on the field, we'll have a better idea of what the injury situation does and or might look like. And going back to that football game, the one thing that really stood out, now again, there's so many small numbers that I've got within the game that we can share later if we want, but the one thing that really stood out was that the Ottawa Red Blacks had to really manipulate their ratio in that football game. For example, if you looked on the depth chart, William Stanbeck was not listed as the starter, right? Because he's an American. So the roster manipulation in game by the Ottawa Red Blacks was pretty masterful, but they also had a pretty thin defensive line. And you heard Thomas Bertrand-Hudon talk about it. By the end of the game, he felt that they were tired, that his fresh offensive line, who was in great shape, was able to go ahead and take advantage of a fatigued unit for the Ottawa Red Blacks. And you look back and a lot of numbers and a lot of things point to that success as being a real big factor that we really didn't talk about last Thursday night, but it definitely was one that showed its head, if you will, during the game.
Back to the running back situation and AJ Ouellette, obviously he takes a blow to his head. Like, that is clear as day. And if you've ever worn a helmet, doesn't matter if it's you're riding a motorcycle or playing hockey or whatever. When your bell still gets rung. There's no. I think that the Carey thing, this is again just me. It's week 1. He runs so violently. This wasn't even a him running violent injury. This was just a football, you know what happens kind of thing, right? Guy's head hit his, happens all the time. And then he got his bell rung. So if we're in this situation in 1, and Thomas Bertrand-Hudon is a good fill-in guy, but looking at it as we go along here, you definitely add. If Maz and I talked in hour 1 about the cap thing, who cares? Like, really, how much can he put us over? Let's say we're at it right now. Big deal. Bring him in. Because AJ, no offense to anybody, he ain't playing every game this year. Have you watched him run? It's just not going to happen. And now you got Kadeem and Thomas to fill the void. It just makes so much sense, and how they pulled it off so quick. And talking to Coach Mace is probably in the works as soon as they saw it on their wire or whatever that he got released.
Well, and the other thing to keep in mind, if you go back to the Rider Nation pregame show from Thursday night when the commissioner was on with us and was talking with us, and the one thing that he was asked was, what's the cap number? He didn't have a real good answer for that just yet, and that's not a condemnation of the commissioner or the league, but hey, remember right before the free agent signing period, right? They talked about what the salary cap has gone up. So who knows who spent to what level of the cap, right?
Did he use the word ish? That would have been better. If he would have said ish.
No,
$5.6 million ish, give or take. Cans and bottles, depends. The one thing about Kadeem Carey, if you look at his stats, last year he played 18 games. I think the seasons before that, he's been durable as long as he's been in the CFL. He's been able to stay on the field. He's been the leading rusher twice in the CFL. He's won a Grey Cup, and Mace alluded to that. When you can add a guy of that character to the room that's been there and been in those situations where they want to be, that kind of stuff is worth way more than just, we've added another guy to the roster. There's the intangibles that he would bring to the dressing room. That game Saturday, Dave, when you watch Dedrick Mills from the Stamps run, him and Kadeem Carey, I always got so confused because they both run so hard and they hit the hole so hard. You're like, okay. But it's a little different than Ouellette because, as May said, Carey's a very patient runner. And when he sees it, he goes, but he's not just looking to blast right away. He'll pick his spots.
No, absolutely. That's the difference in the two runners, both very successful at what they do. And if there's one thing that this move states to me overall is the importance that the Saskatchewan Roughriders are putting on their run game. Because last year, right, go through that stretch during the summer when A.J. Ouellette was out, when Frankie Hickson was the guy that was carrying the ball, when we were going through all of that offensive line turnover, it's pretty tough to establish a running game. But when the Riders do, you look at the numbers and they don't lie. When the Saskatchewan Roughriders can find themselves in second and medium situations, most of the time, it correlates to a win for the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So finding that balance, I'm sure, is a priority for Mark Mueller this year. He had to get away from it a little bit last year due to personnel and injury woes. But again, the numbers don't lie. And when the Roughriders find themselves, as does every other team, but again, especially the Saskatchewan Roughriders, the statistics show you get that running game going, you're going to be successful.
Watching football, and I'm Maz, I don't know how your in-laws are, but you watch it with family members, and then it'll be on first down, and we run the ball, and we don't get anything, right? Because that happens. That happens in football. Mm-hmm. You don't get any yard. You might even lose yards. Why are we doing that? Why are we? Because this is how the game works. If you can pick up 4-5, and now you got second and manageable, it opens up so much. And it's just like returning kicks. Field possession, especially if your elements are playing into it in football, it's just like, oh, yeah.
Well, and you're bang on, though, with that right away, right? When you look at the running numbers for the Saskatchewan Roughriders last week compared to Ottawa, Ottawa put up 30, but they had to make an adjustment because they weren't able to run against the Saskatchewan Roughriders front seven. So that's why they went to that short passing game, Barney, and you're bang on, right? So that short passing game really essentially became the running game of the Ottawa Redblacks throughout the course of the game. That and getting back to field position, how about a shout out to Mario Alford, right? He knew what was going on. Mm-hmm. And again, he was challenged and he rose to the occasion. The Saskatchewan Roughriders in week 1 had the best starting field position out of any team in the Canadian Football League with an average start at their own 42.2 yard line.
I feel that it would be great to use that Jim Carrey gif from Ace Ventura where he's chomping on his food and that pissed off face. That was Mario Alford going into that game.
Yeah, it was, and he ran with purpose. You got to go, and he'll be the first guy, I'm sure, that will go ahead and point to the blocking that he got, because the Riders' special teams, I thought, were bang on in week number 1, and they created some holes, some opportunities, and creases for him, and he exploited them.
Dave, one of the things, and maybe it's just the algorithm that I'm exposed to on the social channels, a lot of talk about the AJ situation and the running back. But remember a couple of years ago? Oh, speaking of algorithms, I got some new ones over the weekend.
There's so many jokes I want to use.
When Roland Milligan got hurt a few years ago, the Riders season went in the tank. Roland Milligan gets hurt in the game, and he's out. And whether or not he wanted to go back in, but he didn't play the rest of the game. How worried should we be? He is the number 2 player in the CFL. He is... the defense for the Riders is really good, but a lot of it runs through Roland Milligan. Like, I don't know that we've spent enough time being concerned about number 0 on the Rider D.
No, absolutely, right? When you're the reigning defensive player of the year in the Canadian Football League and you go down, absolutely, that's a huge blow because you want him on the field and in the roster. And I think much to the Riders' credit, they really err on the side of the athlete, right? So sometimes you have to protect the athlete from themselves. You've heard it before in hockey or whatever, right? You hit his helmet or you took away the skates, right? You got to make sure that the players are protected from themselves sometimes. I don't have any diagnostics on what Roland Milligan Jr. is, but the one thing I can say is that the linebacking core and the secondary for the Saskatchewan Roughriders is the envy of a lot of teams in the Canadian Football League, despite the fact that they gave up 400 yards throwing. Passing. But you look at CJ Rivas, you look at CJ Avery, you look at guys like Nelson Lacombo, who's coming into his own. Jackson Ford was sensational. He's nicked up now. But again, you got all the confidence in the world. DeMarcus Fields on the other side, Marcus Sales, Tavon Campbell. Who do you want to throw at? Like Marcus Sales, his whole job was to shut down Geno Lewis. And aside from one catch right at the goal line, which I didn't think was a touchdown, but on further review is a touchdown. Again, who do you want to mess with? Now you add Roland Milligan Jr. back into that mix. Like, that's pretty formidable.
Tavon Campbell, Eugene Lewis matchup. I'm looking forward to him on any receiver in the league. I mentioned this last week. It's like when I used to watch Revis, when Revis was at the Patriots, for that brief stint, and they'd just put him on the best receiver and say, okay, that's done. Now let's play over here.
That's what the Riders did with Marcus Sayles, and it's going to be, I'm sure, Kenny Lawler and Marcus Sayles that'll square off this week in Hamilton.
And then Amari Henderson, was Luke hard on him. I was for the first few breaks.
You know what?
It was like Amari Henderson was that kid that showed up in jeans, and it was just like, just pick on him all day.
The entire Ottawa secondary was brand new, though, right? Like all 5 players had never played before. Even in the preseason, they didn't get in together. So it was an entirely new unit. And Amari Henderson was moved to half. If you notice that from corner where the Riders deployed him most of last year. So it's a new position for him. And there were some times where you could just see the secondary screaming at one another. Like there were some times that it was a growing pains kind of night for the Ottawa Red Blacks.
So off to Hamilton this week. They looked okay in Calgary at times in spurts. For whatever reason, Bo Levi Mitchell, even some of his new receivers, they're dropping passes for whatever reasons. And Kenny Lawler is not a guy that drops a lot of passes, but that happened on Saturday. I expect them to be better at home. But Scott Milanovich, Bo Levi Mitchell, who has always played well against the Riders, they're going to be aggressive. Aggressive. It's going to be attack, and that Riders secondary is going to be under fire because even if it's not working, they're going to go back to it, just like in Calgary. That Bo didn't care if he sailed it 20 yards over dude's head. Here it comes again.
No, you're right. And the running back is Greg Bell for the Hamilton Tiger Cats, and he's got some moves. He looks like he understands the offense quite well. But how is he going to fare against the Riders front seven? That might be the difference. But in that game in Calgary, now that was the one thing that baffled me was how the wind that was gusting really seemed to be a non-factor in many that were talking about the game. But like the Hamilton Tiger Cats, they took the ball and the wind in the third quarter so that they could try to erase the 2-score deficit. And then they messed up the kickoff by not taking the ball. So I thought the wind was much more of a factor. I thought it played a factor in some of the balls that were thrown. And I thought Calgary used home field advantage masterfully. Like they scored when they had the wind and then they chewed up clock when they didn't.
All right, boys. Colson's saying we got to wrap. We can go on all day here. Curious, you guys are rolling the rest of the week. This Darius Washington offensive lineman that they brought in today. Coach Mace talked highly of him. I like it. Not more offensive linemen. Let's go one a week. That's our quota. All right, Maz, get out there and get it. One a week. Thanks, Dave, for doing this. Voice of the Riders on the Western Pizza guest hotline. Tonight, pick up a Western Pizza. Find a pickup special near you. We'll come back with a little hockey talk in the ticker. It is the Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com.
You've got that sweet ride just sitting there, so why not park her in the ring at the 6th Amazing Coast to Coast Collector Car Auctions live event, June 28th in Regina, and get top dollar for it. Des here from Coast to Coast Collector Car Auction, and we're going to be down at the Cali Club where we'll have local bidders and real-time online bidding from across Canada, the U.S., and Europe. Get in on the action. The Coast to Coast Collectors Car Auction returns June 28th. Details at coasttocoastauctionssk.ca.
Nelson GM in Assiniboia and Avonlea is proud to salute the agriculture producers. If you're looking for that perfect vehicle to fit your ag lifestyle, check out their new and used lineup at either location. With lots on the lot to choose from, they've got tons of new and used trucks now in stock. And if they don't have it, they'll get it for you. That's small town service with a long-standing reputation of one of the province's premier GM dealers. Proudly serving southern Saskatchewan for 65 years. NelsonGM.com. Calling all skilled heavy-duty mechanics. Core Industrial Services has an exciting opportunity for you. They're hiring a full-time heavy-duty mechanic to join them at their 9,000-square-foot shop in Rocanville, Saskatchewan. As a heavy-duty mechanic, you're responsible for performing maintenance and repairs on a wide range of equipment, from heavy machinery to light trucks and more. At Core Industrial Services, they believe in the power of teamwork. Apply today on their website at coreindustrial.ca or call them at 306-745-4844. Core Industrial Services, where expertise meets opportunity. free. Apply now.
The ball is snapped. He scans the field. He's going deep. What a play! Rider fans, make your own great play by going to riders5050.ca. You can now buy tickets for every Rider game, home or away. You can also sign up for the 50/50 Club and never miss a draw, including the weekly loyalty and early bird prizes. All proceeds support amateur football in Saskatchewan, equipping the heartland, and just maybe score a big win. Get your tickets today at riders5050.ca and go Riders! Riders 50/50 is presented by ISC.
Sask Lotteries has over 50 years of winning behind us. And you know what that means? Lots of winning numbers. Numbers like over 1,200 organizations funded and 12,000 plus groups supported. $6 million given away annually in community grants. And the winningest number of all? $1.4 billion given back to the people of Saskatchewan through sport, culture, and recreation. And we're just getting started. Learn more at sasklotteries.ca.
Hey, we're Harvard Media. A few times a year, we love to get together with our favorite businesses and throw a good old-fashioned classic auction. There's nothing like waiting until the last minute, battling out other bidders, and claiming your prize. We're looking for businesses to join up for our next one. All we need from you is an experience, service, or item like a gift card. In return, we'll serve you up a top-tier ad campaign. No cash needed. This is a trade deal. Check out harvardmedia.com for info. Terms and conditions apply.
Keep your equipment out of the rain and mud this spring by storing it in a new building from Olympic Buildings. A new building on your property can serve as a shop for equipment or hay storage, a riding arena, and so much more. Olympic Buildings in Regina can store it all. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
Time's almost up. Buy your tickets for the Sask Elks Trucks and Bucks Lottery before June 9th for a chance to win amazing prizes, including a $75,000 vehicle voucher. Lottery license number LR240147.
The Sportscage Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Your local Massey Ferguson Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fendt dealer. Call 781-1077.
Clutch Performer for Nick's Service in Emerald Park. Do you have one? Is your neighbor? Can we go to your neighbor's story now? No, not a Clutch Performer. Your mic's not on.
Well, I put in the group chat that he looks like Andre Proulx, the referee in the CFL. That's what he looks like. That's the most common. There's no salacious update at the moment. Yeah, right there. That's who he looks like. But because the minute the grass gets even remotely close cutting, I just pull out the lawnmower and I just go cut it, and I don't look over at that side. So if I'm always on top of that, it keeps my anxiety level down. They never have to cut it.
So you just cut his part too?
Always have.
Yeah.
Lived there since 2008. Always have. Never not going to go down the. But breaking news on the other side, Mike, the dynamite salesman, he's been talking about moving for the past couple of years because he's got a girlfriend that lives down at the lake and stuff now. And so that's 30, 40 minutes out of town. And I think he may be putting the house up for sale because neighbor on the other side has been over there doing some handyman stuff. Like they put a new floor in the garden shed, doing some stuff, worked on some of the eaves troughs and a few other things. And Mike's talked about it, but he had to go to Alaska and then come home for a few days. And then he's off to China for 3 weeks to sell some explosives or go check the factory because maybe they make them there. I don't know.
I guarantee Mike's seen some stuff in his day.
Oh,
Mike.
He was explaining to me when he was in India, they were sleeping in because this is all new construction. Like when I say construction, there's nothing but just the outdoors, and they're blowing up stuff to put in pipes and infrastructure. So he's sleeping in a hut on the ground on straw with like a sleeping bag for weeks on end in India. And I'm like, Mike, that sounds terrible. But you know what he said to me? He goes, it beats sitting in the office doing email with a bunch of millennials. And I'm like,
he's like,
oh. And then the millennials catch a stray right there.
Yeah. He's like Mr. Peterman. I love it. I don't really have. I would say all the kids that were trying to play in the NFL flag regional tournament this weekend, and then it got canceled because of smoke. But all you had to do was wait till like 5 o'clock, and then the smoke was going to clear out, and then he could have continued on. But how I understand it, the American people that came up here, and I don't know where the decision was made, but they had that U-Haul loaded up, and they were like, monorail out, and I don't know what happens now. Nothing is. What's that? Peace. Yeah, they're peace out. So a lot of kids disappointed. Hopefully they get to continue it at some point. So clutch performer for Nick Service in Emerald Park, your local Massey, Ferguson, Challenger, Rogator, Gleaner, and Fent dealer. We could also have given one to Jeremy O'Day and the Rider Brass for bringing in Kadeem Carey. Although there's probably somewhere, if I look through the text line, someone's complaining about it somewhere. Why did they do that? Oh, jeez.
What's worse? What's worse? Not having any options when dudes get hurt.
Yeah.
Like last year, like Dave talked about, during the 7-game skid, and then we had to, like, the way Dave put it, alter the game plan. That was mild. That was an understatement.
Oh, yeah. Hockey tonight. Do we have time for it? Paul Maurice. Did you hear the Paul Maurice clip on this? The reporter that asks about Barkov. This is classic Paul Maurice.
Barkov is at -4 and doesn't have any points in the finals. Are you worried at all about his playing?
We're trading him. No, I'm not at all. There's action at both ends of the ice all the time. And I don't think this is a statistical series because it's not relatable to series that you've played in the past. I mean, the shot attempts, the sheer volume of quality offense driven by both teams. At the same time, both teams are defending very well. So, I got a minus on the 4-on-4. It's a heck of a shot block. It's in the back of the net. I didn't bench him. He's good.
I think that guy, the guy that it sounded like he had a Finnish accent, and Barkov is Finnish. Case, and then the other clutch. This could have been clutch too. Is Leon Draisaitl bailing out Connor McDavid when he was asked an awkward question about basically how deadly he is.
I know that's a product of talent and years of skill work, but if there's a kid out there who's like, how did he do that? Like, what would you say to him?
How do you develop that? Yeah, I mean, it's as you said, a lot goes into that. As you said, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
You can't learn that. Let me answer it for you. It's just you don't. I'll answer it for him.
Leon bailing out Connor. It's awesome. Colson saying, got a break. Ticker's coming up. It is a Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
620 CKRM proudly presents the Salute to Saskatchewan 4-H Clubs. We encourage all 4-H members, including youth leaders and parents, to register their 4-H club to be recognized each week live on the air. We'll also highlight each registered club on a 4-H map on the website 620ckrm.com. Plus, 4 4-H clubs will be drawn to win tickets to Moonlight Movies for a free movie and popcorn. Take your seats, please. This is just 620 CKRM's way of recognizing and saluting the ag leaders of tomorrow.
Sponsored by Canadian AgriBlend, Cowtown, Heartland Livestock Yorkton, Moose Creek Red Angus, Weyburn Livestock Exchange, and Farmtronics.
Don't miss the farm equipment dispersal for Grant Bradley near Esterhazy, Saskatchewan. Bidding happens online June 5th and will close Wednesday, June the 11th. Bid on items like a John Deere 7820 front wheel assist tractor, a 2010 John Deere 7730 front wheel assist loader and grapple, John Deere 569 round baler, and a John Deere 956 Moco. Check it out online, yacauctions.com, or call us for more information, 306-782-5999.
She was looking for fun in the sun. He wanted 2-for-1. Called a sassy tour de force that will change the way you look. This summer's biggest eyewear blockbuster is the You Pick the Sale at Future Vision.
Ooh, how do I choose?
Will she get a great deal on prescription sunglasses? Will he find 2 fashion frames for one low price? You Pick the Sale. Now playing at
Future Vision. Where'd you get those eyes?
A proud recipient of the Consumer's Choice Award 2024.
Play ball! Come on out out Wednesday evening and watch some exciting baseball. First pitch is 7 p.m. at Curry Field as the Regina Red Sox take on the Swift Current 57s. It's the Indian Head 1951 Rockets tribute game. Fun for the whole family. Exciting Red Sox baseball Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. at Curry Field. Go to ReginaRedSox.com for tickets. Sponsored by the Regina Hotel Association.
Farm Boy Realty has 5 quarters of land in a block for sale east of Tyvan. 3 quarters are listed on the Morrisky farmland tender until June 17th. 2 quarters are available on MLS listing. All quarters are in hay and have been seeded in the last 5 years. This is your chance to buy a 5-quarter block of land for hay or grain production. Call Guy at Farm Boy Realty, 434-8857. That's 434-8857. FarmBoyRealty.com.
Howdy, Wood Country Woody here. I've always thought that deck railing should be a little more than a way to keep yourself from falling into the hydrangeas. They should add style and class. They should be regal aluminum railings from Wood Country. These bad boys come with LED lighting options that allow you to change the color and the mood at the touch of a button and at the best price around. Regal aluminum railings from Wood Country.
Your home is your castle.
In McLean, Estevan, and Tisdale. Wood-country.com.
Employee pricing has arrived at Crestview Chrysler with the 100 Years in Canada event. That means $99 per week on a new 2025 Jeep Compass. Financing as low as 0% for 72 months on select Ram 1500s. Save up to $26,000 on the new Dodge Durango Hellcat. Or get into a new 2024 Dodge Hornet for as low as $38,995. Take your pick, boss. It's employee pricing. Only for a limited time at Crestview Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
There's nothing to make or eat at home for supper tonight, and I'm starving. What's in the fridge? That old casserole from last month? Mac and cheese? No, I had that for breakfast. What about the pantry? That canned fish stuff? Ugh, this is no way to live. Wait! I'll order Western Pizza. That is a way to live.
Western Pizza. Big on toppings, big on taste. Dine in or takeout. Order today.
And get it hot, get it fast. Western Pizza.
Man, I am in a good mood today.
I think the AC is broken.
Well, that was short-lived.
You never think about your AC until it breaks. Skipping routine maintenance can leave you hot, frustrated, and stuck with expensive repairs. Aero Plumbing, Heating, and Air can maintain your unit to make sure it's in tip-top shape for summer and keep you in a good mood. Visit aeroplumbing.ca.
Straight shooters, we're straight shooters. Aero Plumbing, Heating and Air.
Country Corner is brought to you by EMF Market Mall. Open Thursday to Sunday at 1217 Broad Street. Look for EMF Market Mall on Facebook.
620 CKRM and Tri-Hall Self-Unloading Bale Movers present the CCA Pilot Butte Rodeo this weekend, Friday to Sunday. Don't miss Caitlin's Crusaders Bronc Match, Parade, Chariots, Chuck Wagons, the Bud Light Cabaret, and more. Full details and where to get tickets on our events page at 620ckrm.com. Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Regina are bringing back the Mega Bike. Hop aboard the 30-person party bike on June 18th and help raise money to support life-changing mentorship programs for local youth. You can find the registration link at bbbsregina.ca. And get ready to sing and dance at the Big Flat Folk Fest, July 11th and 12th in East End. This year's main stage headliner is Corb Lund. For tickets and more information, visit bigflatfolkfest.ca.
For more information, visit 620ckrm.com. It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Extreme Hockey and Sports. Whatever your sport is, Extreme Hockey has you covered.
Saskatchewan Roughriders have signed Kadeem Carey, East Division All-Star last year, 1,060 yards, 7 touchdowns over 18 games, also 356 yards catching it out of the backfield. They also brought back linebacker Braxton Hill, and they brought in American offensive lineman Darius Washington today. NHL tonight, Oilers, Panthers continues. Game 3. Edmonton has 7 come-from-behind wins in these playoffs. That's crazy. They weren't able to get the 8th in Game 2, but should be another good one tonight. Blue Jays starting a series with St. Louis tonight. No NBA. Continues on Wednesday, tied 1-1. And the Western Canadian Baseball League, no games tonight. Regina 6-3. Good for 3rd in the East. 2 games back in Medicine Hat. They're back in home action tomorrow. And right now, 9-3-6 62-62, we're giving away our Red Sox pack. If you're listening, you want to go watch some baseball, text in 936-6262. That is the ticker. Darian Durant starts hour 3 when we come back here on the Sports Cage.
This is 620 CKRM Regina, the voice of Saskatchewan, a Harvard media station. Streaming everywhere at 620CKRM.com.
It's 5 o'clock. Good evening. I'm Corey Atkinson from the SaskToday.ca newsroom with your 620 CKRM News for Echo Sound in Fort Qu'Appelle. Stay connected with the new cell phone from Echo Sound. Call 306-332-6711. Saskatchewan's Public Safety Minister has responded to criticism by some wildfire evacuees who say they have not received financial help. Tim McLeod says anyone who's fled from wildfires will receive aid.
There's going to be a lot of communication that needs to happen, and everybody's doing their level best to make sure that people are directed where they should be directed and get the resources that they need.
More than 10,000 people in Saskatchewan remain displaced. Regina Exhibition Association Limited has named Rick Bennett as its new president and CEO starting on June 16th. Bennett brings over 20 years of global leadership experience in hospitality, sports, and tourism. Real Board Chair Jamie Bolt says his strong people-first approach and international successes make him the right leader for this next phase. Bennett says he's honored to help move the organization forward. His early goals include financial stability, employee engagement, and long-term planning. Real also thanked interim CEO Trent Fraser for guiding the organization during this recent transition period. These are trying times for the air travel industry, with people skipping trips to the U.S. because of the current political climate down south. SkyWest Airlines has added direct flights to Denver, Colorado, and at a recent roundtable with the Regina Airport Authority, they gave an update on how the flights are doing so far.
The return of daily direct flights from Regina to Denver were a prime topic at a business roundtable last Thursday. Daniel Belmont, who is marketing manager at SkyWest Airlines, spoke about how things are going with the new route.
So far, things are off to a great start. We've got a great partnership with the community and the airport, and we're seeing good ridership so far and looking forward to ongoing service here.
SkyWest acts as a regional airline partner for United Airlines, operating the flights with 50-seat regional jets. Despite the backlash against Donald Trump's 51st state comments, so far things look promising. The flights are running at 60% capacity. That's considered a good early sign for a new route. SkyWest is hoping to see more passengers fly out of Regina in the months ahead. For SAS Today, I'm John Cairns.
A man has died after a single vehicle rollover on a rural road north of Chaplin early Saturday. Morse RCMP, firefighters, and EMS responded just after 1 a.m. The driver, the only person in the car, was pronounced dead at the scene. Police say he was from another country and that his family has been notified. RCMP continued to investigate with help from a collision expert. And Canada will meet its NATO commitment of spending 2% of GDP on national defence this year. Prime Minister Mark Carney says Canada will meet its goal 5 years ahead of schedule.
We will change the way we arm the men and women who serve, so we can fight on new battlegrounds in unfamiliar territory, so we can defend every inch of our sovereign territory, from seafloor to the Arctic to cyberspace, so we can protect Canadians, our interests, and our allies.
Recent data shows that Canada spends just 1.33% of its GDP on defence, but has come under major pressure from allies to increase its military spending. That was your 620 CKRM News. Read more stories from around your community and around the province at sasktoday.ca and 620CKRM.com. Your weather is next.
Way to go, Travis Kelce. I mean, son.
As fun as it is watching your 5-year-old run the wrong way or pick dandelions on the football field, what if I told you you could watch your favorite sports or shows on the go anywhere? Well, you can with MaxStream TV from Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer. Take MaxStream anywhere you go.
Oh, wrong way, buddy.
MaxStream and great internet plans available at Echo Sound, your SaskTel authorized dealer in Fort Qu'Appelle, echosound.ca.
Let's get out on the water. Now is the best time of year to buy a boat or pontoon at Kevin's Marine. Cast a line in a Lund fishing boat. Take the family out on a Four Winds boat. Or head out on a pontoon by Harris or Crest. Powered by Mercury Motors at the lowest prices of the year. There are manufacturer's rebates, dealer discounts, and low payment financing on a great selection of boats and pontoons. Plus Shoremaster aluminum docks and lifts. Kevin's Marine in Fort Qu'Appelle. Enjoy your summer. Get out on the water. Stop by or shop online at kevinsmarine.com.
Weather brought to you by Line X Regina. Serious protection, killer looks. 1865 McCara Street. And Croft Electric, 27 years of trusted, reliable home, farm, and commercial service for all your electrical needs. CroftElectric.com, and you can find them on all socials.
Areas of patchy smoke and haze through the night. We're not dealing with the greatly reduced air quality, but the smoke will continue to be in the air. Temperature dropping off overnight to around 12. Some areas that clear a little more. May get down to the upper single numbers. The wind pretty light overnight, generally around 10 kilometers per hour or less. It picks up a bit through the day on Tuesday, mainly sunny sky. Again, some local smoke, primarily in the form of haze in the air. 23 is the high. Mainly clear for Tuesday night. We'll be back down to around 8. The smoke should thin out a little bit across midweek as cloud cover begins to work in. The pattern turns a little more active, a little more churning of the atmosphere, getting some of that trapped smoke out. 23, the high Wednesday, with the partly sunny sky. We're partly sunny on Thursday, the high near 20. And then cloud cover begins to roll in on Friday. A little sunshine to start the day. High of 18, chance for some showers into Friday night. With your 620 CKRM weather forecast, I'm Precision Weather meteorologist Phil Spivak.
When you want the best for your truck, you want Line-X. Your truck has withstood the harshest elements Saskatchewan has thrown at it. Rocks, gravel, rain, sleet, and snow, and left with no chips, no rust. Line-X protective coating keeps your truck's bed liners, rocker panels, and bumpers looking like brand new. Don't settle for Brand X. Go with Line-X. It's serious protection. Come see why everybody loves taking their truck to Line-X Regina for their rocker panels, bumpers, and more. Line-X, make your truck complete. 1865 McCara Street.
Croft Electric. You've probably heard of us because we've been around for over 27 years. We do commercial and residential work? Yes. We do permanent holiday lighting? Yes. We do cabins? Yes. And farms? Yes and yes. We're an authorized Generac generator dealer. We are a full-service electrical company with the experience and the people to service all of your electrical needs. We are Croft Electric. We will be here when you need us. Do it right, do it once. Follow us on all social and call 306-586-1333 to book.
Broadcasting from Century Studios in downtown Regina, Harvard Media presents The Sports Cage, where Saskatchewan comes to talk local sports. Brought to you by Kellen Solar, 35 years of experience, moving water from a dugout or well without electricity. Visit kellensolar.com to find out more about your livestock operation. Be part of the show. Call 1-866-767-0620 or text 306-936-6262. The Sports Cage. Streaming at sportscage.com, our YouTube channel, and on the radio at 620 CKRM.
Last hour, Maz is with me. Colson as well. How it's going to shake down. We got Darian Durant, double talk for Campbell Safety Consulting coming up in a bit. Also, we're going to hear the Red Sox report. And then the Coach Mace interview. If you missed it earlier, we're going to play that again here in hour 3. Speaking of the Red Sox, chance to win a Red Sox prize pack right now. 2 tickets, 2025 regular season game. A Red Sox coffee mug, a little pin, and a fridge magnet. Right now, 936-6262. If you want to win that, you want to go watch some Red Sox baseball this year. And also, we're playing SaskTel Pick the Score, don't forget. Same Western Pizza text line, 936-6262. What's the score? Riders and Tiger Cats on Saturday.
You posted a picture of your fridge on social media last week. It's the freezer that's not working, right?
Oof.
Can we? If I had to give a neighbor update, what's the fridge situation? Because we just went through this with our ice maker over the past 4 or 5 months, and it was under warranty. But yeah, great. But if you can't get somebody to come out for 4 months to look at it, what good's your extra warranty?
Biggest scam perpetrated on the American public since 1 hour Martinizing, as Kramer says. But the thing is, I got a DM. Somebody listens to the Cage, listens to the Nooner as well, said, because I mentioned it there too. There I went off a little bit more than I'm allowed to do in podcast form. But said, thank you so much. We had a claim. So we just purchased all new appliances.
Yeah.
And we did have a Samsung fridge with an ice maker. We canceled that and bought a different brand. Said, you thank me later. Thing's a hunk of junk.
I remember a guy that was here fixing our dryer. He said, sorry, I'm picking on Samsung. He said, listen, all day long, buy their TVs. He goes, anything that has to do with that brand and a drop of water, he goes, I fix that the most. Because I was asking him, because we had like an LG dryer, and he goes, you're good. Because I was asking him, what do you fix a lot? And he told me. He was completely honest. And I'm like, okay. And he just said, if you ever want my advice. And so I did. Even before the last dishwasher we bought. Just got a Maytag.
Yeah.
I text him. I'm like, hey, is this a good model? I said, do you fix this a lot? He goes, no. And I'm like, okay, then. That's straight from the guy that's going to show up at your house.
Yeah. Tool
and
belt
tell
guy.
you, ooh.
Yeah. That, remember, I know we got to get to Darian, but quickly, just dishwasher. Remember how, what's the word kids are using? Bougie, whatever that is? Yeah.
Bougie?
How bougie it was to walk into your friend's house in like the 80s and they had a dishwasher, but it was one that they had to like wheel towards the sink and then pop the hoses on. Was that you guys?
We were ghetto rich like that. Yeah, we had that.
Oh, well, we
And
didn't even have
like
that.
740s. It sounded like, I don't know, I'd never been on a 747, but it sounded like a plane taking off. That's how noisy it was.
Dad's trying to watch the Tommy Hunter show. Can't hear a thing because the dishwasher is running, and it sounds like it's walking on its own. Oh, that's another time. We'll do like a whole appliance show this summer for people to message in. Let's get to Darian Colson.
It's time for Double Talk with Saskatchewan Roughrider legend Darian Durant. Double Talk is brought to you by Campbell Safety Consulting. At Campbell Safety Consulting, we work towards helping companies create a competitive edge by executing a proactive health and safety program.
I think it's only fair if we ask Darian what kind of appliances he has in his house. Are you a Sub-Zero guy? Are you Samsung? You LG? You Maytag? What's going on in the Durant household?
KitchenAid. KitchenAid's our go-to. It's always been good to us, so we're going to stick with it.
Trusty, nice and just like you back in the backfield back in the day, right? You know what you're going to get out of a good KitchenAid.
Exactly.
Hey.
Yeah, you pay a little more, but it's well worth it. And that's my repair guy said that too. He goes, if you can afford KitchenAid, he goes, get them all. He goes, but if you can't, then he gave me other options because KitchenAid's a little higher end. He goes, but it's well worth it.
You just don't cheap out on some things in life. Appliances, toilet paper.
Those are some things you cannot cheap out on whatsoever. I'll tell you that.
What did you think? What did you think of the Riders and Kadeem Carey, the announcement today?
Well, first of all, I thought the Riders did what they had to do and by winning the game. I mean, no one thought that Ottawa would come in and win. I just wanted to see how well they would play, especially, I think I said last week, I wanted to see the D-line, those defensive ends get after Ottawa's offense, and they did a great job of that. So I was happy to see the defense get after it and the Riders get a game that they were supposed to win. And, I hate to see AJ Ouellette go down so early again. It's kind of been trending lately, past couple of years of him getting banged up a little bit. I know it has to be super frustrating for him to, work so hard to go down early in game one. It's a tough thing for him, but, bringing in Kadeem Carey, a veteran guy, a guy who's super versatile, can, catch the ball out of the backfield, veteran presence, blitz pickup, you name it. He's a back that'll definitely help this offense.
Darian, when you were watching that game, if you only caught the opening drive, Ottawa looked good. Drew Brown marching down the field. It seemed they played well in the first quarter and the fourth quarter. The second and third, it just sort of went away. But then the Rider defense, as you had mentioned, slowly got going, and the D-line took over. And Dave mentioned because of their ratio, looks like their O-line was tired by the end of the game. What did you see for the Riders? Because there was no Kean Schaefer-Baker for the most part. It was Keyshawn Johnson. What did you see out of the offense? Because Trevor Harris had to spread the ball around a little bit. What were some of the things that you went, all right, I like this? Because they didn't have all the big guns.
I just like the way, first and foremost, Samuel Emulus, how he just, he just looked like he was in, mid-season form. You could tell that his offseason was about getting better, being more explosive, and making sure he's available for Trevor, and he just came out smoking. So I was happy to see his performance and see that he was ready to go. Other than that, I just think that the Riders did what they had to do. I mean, nothing was pretty, impressive to me. I think that this was a game they should have won. They did what they had to do to win. I didn't like the fact that Drew Brown threw for over 400 yards. I think that's something that Coach Mace will address. But he said something interesting in his post game. He said, as the late great Rich Stubler, one of the toughest D coordinators I always had to go against, he said, I don't care how many yards they have. Did we win or lose? So, if he's going to take that attitude about it, then I'm happy for the team and them winning. But, I'm sure in those meetings, he's going to tell those DBs to tighten up a little bit and not give up so many big plays.
It was that zone, Darian, right? Where Drew Brown, to his credit, especially in that first drive, he's got a methodical, went down. He was putting it right in those soft spots, as I call them, right in between the safeties, right behind the linebackers, and they're always in a zone. It's there, but you got to have the touch. I was impressed with Brown. Did you see the Riders tightening that up or throwing different looks at Drew Brown after that easy first drive?
Well, yeah, I think they did a good job of mixing up looks for Drew Brown, not really confusing him. But whenever your offense can put points on the board early, Mario Alford did a great job of special teams, setting the team up with great field position early on. Whenever you can get a lead at Mosaic and you can force the team to be one-dimensional, you're just playing in the hands of the crowd and that D-line. So I think the Riders just did a great job of getting up, building a little cushion, and then relying on the crowd, the pass rush, everything that makes Mosaic such a tough place to play, putting those odds in your favor. So if you get down and you have to throw and you become one-dimensional, then you're going to be in trouble.
When we were chatting with Dave last hour, there's a lot of talk about A.J. Ouellette getting injured. But when Roland Milligan went down, and it didn't seem like a play like that was overanalyzed like the Ouellette one, but you worried because a few years ago when Milligan was out of the lineup, the defense cratered. I don't think that's going to happen this time, but the reigning defensive player of the year is not in your defense anymore. You covered for it for a game where he wasn't in, but long term, no Roland Milligan, it changes the Rider D, doesn't it?
Absolutely. If you look around the league and look at the DBs around the league, the teams that will probably have the most success have that veteran guy back there, have a leader, a guy, a playmaker, a guy who can get everyone else lined up. I was just looking at Edmonton. I'm looking at Ottawa, some of these other teams with all these young DBs, and there's just communication errors. There's so many mistakes, guys looking in the backfield, not reading their keys. I mean, all of these things come into play when you're playing these younger DBs. So you have to have that veteran presence out there. You have to have a guy to constantly remind you of down and distance situational football. So without Roland in the lineup, it could definitely be tough for this Riders secondary.
Okay, let's look ahead to Hamilton here. Saturday, Bo Levi Mitchell, he's been playing in the league a long time, knows what he's doing. From what you see and what you know about Bo Levi Mitchell, Darian, what do the Riders need to do? Is he a guy that you want to pressure and blitz? Do you just frustrate him, be patient, because he's going to want to take shots and he'll get antsy? How do you play Bo Levi Mitchell from your lens?
You have to attack Bo, right? You can't let him sit back there and get comfortable. He's not a guy who will get tired of taking the underneath throws and try to force one downfield. He'll just take what the defense gives you as long as you give him time. So I think you have to attack him, make his feet move, make him get outside the pocket, make him uncomfortable. I think that's the way to attack him. Now, he's going to get his yards. And if they go with the bend but don't break style, that Coach Mace usually goes with, then, Bo's going to throw for a lot of yards. It's really up to this offense to put pressure on that young Hamilton defense and make them uncomfortable. And then you make Bo one-dimensional, and that's the best way to attack him.
Watching that game in Calgary, I felt bad for Bo because all of a sudden, brand new season, he's got some high-priced receivers. Same old situation. These guys are dropping passes that Bo is putting right in there. And that seemed to be the game because Hamilton played well in spurts, but they could never string it all together. As a quarterback, when you had that happen to you, I think we've asked you, do you say anything or are you just like, no, I know what these guys need to do? It's got to be frustrating, though, when you're putting it where it needs to be. And the high-priced guys are making drops that they don't normally make.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but it's just part of the game. And game one jitters, new situation for those receivers. Even though Bo was putting the ball there, it's still a different pace with the ball coming to you in game-like situations, right? It's you can do whatever you want to do in practice. You can say that you want to simulate the game speed as much as possible, but once you're actually in the game, there's a little bit more zip that Bo's putting on those balls, and it's tough. But we're all professionals. Those guys are professionals. They should make those plays, and I think that moving forward with a confident and a veteran guy like Bo, he'll make sure he picks those guys up along the way.
If I can ask a question on what I did see of the Edmonton Elks BC Lions game, Nathan Rourke second half, like a surgeon out there. Trey Ford, it's that it reminds me of the flag kid or the high school football kid that's very athletic. And early in the season, he burns your team because he runs around and all that. And then just say, we just got to contain this guy. And he ain't going to do it. Like, I was like, this isn't sustainable, is it?
You know what? I'm going to give him a pass. I mean, just the energy at BC Place, the upper deck just full. Yeah, I mean, just the atmosphere, it would have been tough for any quarterback to go in there and have some success. And, just speaking from personal experience, I don't think I ever had a good game in BC Place. So, I'm willing to give Trey Ford a pass on this one, even though it does seem like he's not taking the routine throws. He's not making, the plays to just stay ahead of the chains and keep the team in a good situation. He's just relying on the big play too much, and it's not sustainable. It's nothing that puts fear in the hearts of defenses because they know you'll make one or two plays, but you won't be able to do that for an entire game. So I'm just going to keep my head and my eyes in a wait-and-see process with Trey Ford. I'm going to give him another week or two, and I'm going to just say that atmosphere in BC Place was just a little too much for Trey in Edmonton.
On the flip side, I thought that Buck Pierce and the game plan they had for Nathan Rourke to move him around and the play calls and everything, were you as impressed as I was? Because, like I said, by the time the second half rolled around, he looked unstoppable.
Absolutely. I think Buck did a masterful job of just taking advantage of the legs of Nathan Rourke and his ability to throw the ball on a run. He's probably the best when it comes to accuracy of throwing on the run of any quarterback in the league. So if you look at what Bo did in Winnipeg and coach, he comes from under that coach Lapalisse, and I've been a part of that offense. Is one of the first offenses I've been a part of in the CFL. It's great for guys who can get outside of the pocket, use their legs. And, for those Edmonton DBs, it was just hard for them to determine whether it was a run or a pass. Do I come up and run support or do I sit back? I don't know what to do. You can see it on one of those touchdowns. The DB just was in no man's land and he was in cover zero. He didn't know who had the ball. So, and that goes back to me saying, with these younger DBs, you need these veterans out there who have seen these plays over and over and who understand offenses and how they want to attack a defense. So great job from Buck and BC. I think we'll get more of an answer about how good this team is this week in Winnipeg on the road. We'll get a good idea of how good they are.
Back in your day and plan, besides you, who was good at that running, throwing on the run? Like I remember. And is like pre-Darian. Tracy Ham was so good at it. Like, man, that guy could be running.
Damon Allen was pretty good too.
They could both be running and
pretty good.
And throw a backside post 45 yards off one foot. Like Cal Ripken throwing shortstop to first base. Like, Darian, who comes to mind when you think of QBs that can really sling it on the run?
One guy, he may be looked at as a pocket passer, but young Mike Riley was just awesome. His early BC days and early Edmonton days of getting outside the pocket and finding these guys on the run. I have to give it to Kerry Joseph as well. During his MOP run in 2000, a pass to DJ Flick it just sticks out in my head. He was rolling to his right and just hit him on a corner route, just in stride. Just an unbelievable throw. And then you have to go at Henry Burris. I mean, Hank was just, big arm, It didn't matter where he was on the field. He was always a threat to put it up in the air for 60 yards. So, those guys were just amazing to watch outside the pocket.
While smiling.
Exactly.
Smiling.
Smiling Hank.
Maz, you got one more?
Well, we got to ask. So, Darian, you won closest as far as pick the score last week. So we're going to need a prediction for this week.
Yeah, you won.
It's too early to tell. I don't know who's playing. I don't know who's playing for the Riders. I don't know who's playing for Hamilton outside of Bo Levi Mitchell in the Boveralls. Scott Milanovich will be aggressive. We know that. I don't know. How do we play this week?
I think there's blood in the water, man. I think that Hamilton got bit by a shark a little bit last week in Calgary and has a little wound, and I think the Riders will jump on that, man. I just think the Rider defense, they'll get after Hamilton and Bo Levi. I don't see much of a run game with this Hamilton team. And, this is a perfect opportunity for the Riders to go out east and come back 3-0. I know I'm looking ahead, but to try to come back 3-0 after this East Coast swing would be, a great thing going into a tough stretch of Western games. So I'm looking for the Riders to win. I think it'll be a little closer, than some experts may say, but I think I'll go with a 28-24 Rider win out there in Hamilton this week.
That's good. There's been a lot of people on the text line in and around there. So you're on par. Okay, you got that written down. See if Darian can go 2 for 2 here against us. All right, we'll catch up next Monday. We'll see how it all shakes down. Have a fun and safe week, Darian.
Thanks, guys.
Double Talk with Darian Durant, and it is for Campbell Safety Consulting. Your workplace doesn't have a safety program? Campbell Safety Consulting. They can come in, take care of you, get it all done. Look them up on Google. All right, Maz, we got the Red Sox report coming up, the Coach Mace interview from earlier coming up. We got some hockey predictions coming up. We got to do a few things here. Let's pay some bills, though. It's the Sports Cage on 620 CKRM.
Rider Nation lives on 620 CKRM. I'm Dave Thomas, voice of the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Saturday is game day as the Riders take on the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Countdown to kickoff with Justin Dunk and Tegan Whitkos at 2. The pregame show's at 4. And kickoff with Luke Mullender and I is at 5. Saskatchewan Roughrider football on the Cooperators Rider Broadcast Network is brought to you by Salford Equipment, Western Ag Professional Agronomy, and the Saskatchewan NDP Caucus. Stream every moment of Rider football at sportscage.com.
I'm Bailey Shikanik, Prairie Claims Manager for Ag Direct Hail Insurance. Our team of professional and polite hail adjusters have one goal: to thoroughly inspect your crop damage and get you a payment that accurately represents your loss. It's that simple, and why shouldn't it be? Having settled thousands of claims to the satisfaction of our customers, I am proud to lead the Ag Direct Hail Claims team. Visit agdirecthail.com or call us toll-free. We appreciate your business.
Nelson GM in Assiniboia and Avonlea is proud to salute the agriculture producers. If you're looking for that perfect vehicle to fit your ag lifestyle, check out their new and used lineup at either location. With lots on the lot to choose from, they've got tons of new and used trucks now in stock. And if they don't have it, they'll get it for you. That's small town service with a long-standing reputation of one of the province's premier GM dealers. Proudly serving southern Saskatchewan for 65 years. NelsonGM.com.
620 CKRM and Harvard Media believe in being accountable to you, the listener, which is why we participate in the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council. We are committed to upholding the highest standards of broadcast excellence and adhering to the codes and conduct administered by the CBSC. If you have a comment to make about our programming or a concern about something you heard on our station, contact us on our website, 620ckrm.com, or visit the CBSC's website, cbsc.ca.
Get ready, Canada! The Saskatoon two-day auction is coming June 17th and 18th, and it's shaping up to be one for the record books. This is the largest agriculture auction in Western Canada, featuring over 80 combines, 100-plus headers, 30-plus ag tractors, 8 sprayers, and 60-plus truck tractors. You'll also find grain trailers, pickups, cars, SUVs, something for everyone. Extended yard viewing all weekend prior. This is a can't-miss event for farmers, dealers, and buyers. Download the RBA app or visit rbauction.com. Ritchie Brothers Saskatoon, don't miss it.
Do you have a safety program or OHS committee? Call Campbell Safety. Harassment in the workplace? Call Campbell Safety. Don't know if you have a proper safety program? Call Campbell Safety. Once you have an injury, it's too late to have a safety program. Be proactive with Campbell Safety Consulting. They'll come out and customize your safety program and be that extra set of eyes you need. 35 years experience doing health and safety, and they have seen it all, and then some. Call them today and get a free consultation. Campbell Safety Consulting.
Burning the candle at both ends? What a weird saying. What if there's no wick at the bottom end? So many questions. But what I don't question is where I get my tires. When your vehicle needs the right tires, see your local Cooper tire dealer. Your local Cooper tire dealer carries Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires. They have a durable tread that helps resist cutting, cracking, and tearing that occurs on rough trails. Ask your local Cooper tire dealer about Cooper Discoverer Road and Trail AT tires today.
It's here. It's finally here. Camping season is in full swing, so take advantage of the entire summer with a new or used travel trailer from Affordable Trailer Sales. Unbeatable prices, unmatched service, and a great selection of new and used units. They have new 2025 travel trailers starting at $22,900 or $103 bi-weekly. Great floor plans are available. Financing is available. Thinking of upgrading your trailer? Trade it in today. It's time to think camping. Affordable Trailer Sales. Highway 1 West, South Service Road. AffordableTrailerSales.ca.
Keep your equipment out of the rain and mud this spring by storing it in a new building from Olympic Buildings. A new building on your property can serve as a shop for equipment or hay storage, a riding arena, and so much more. Olympic Buildings in Regina can store it all. Visit olympic-buildings.ca.
It's time for the Sports Ticker, brought to you by Steelcraft Doors Regina, made in Western Canada for Western Canadians.
Here, the Roughrider signed Kadeem Carey. Coach Mace was with us in hour one. We're going to play that again for you. Chats about it. East All-Star last year. Over 1,000 yards. Hockey tonight. Game 3, Stanley Cup. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a game-time decision. Jeff Skinner ready to go. Both are to take warm-up. We'll see how that pans out. No games in the WCBL tonight. Regina 6-3. They're back at it tomorrow. Blue Jays are in St. Louis starting a series there, and no NBA until Wednesday. That is tied 1-1. Your sports ticker in hour 3 is for Steelcraft Doors. Made in Western Canada for Western Canadians. Steelcraft Doors, Regina. Maz, what do you think happens tonight in Sunrise? Like that game 2 was a good watch, especially the overtime periods. Ooh.
The hockey has been so good. Tonight, what I would like to see, and this is for selfish reasons, I want the Florida Panthers to win, and maybe win big, because there's a guy, he's my friend, his name's Craig, and he's in the internet business, so I call him Internet Craig. Well, I didn't know until last year that Internet Craig and I were good enough friends where he starts sending me memes and stuff when it was Oilers Panthers. You know, he would send something before a game, he would send something during a game if the Oilers were to win. So this has started up again. Like, he sent me out of an office early thing today, and so
yeah,
I've had to fire back with some stuff where I'm like, I didn't even realize we were engaging this way. So
I get it.
There were a few funny things put out on the weekend about
I get
Oilers.
It. I get it.
And
I just, like I said, I really like Stu Skinner. I like what he's doing. I'm trying to avoid all the really obnoxious Oiler fans, because then that makes me want to root for the Panthers. And I am rooting for the Oilers. It's nothing to do with the Canada thing. I could give a rip about that. It is about, I want to see Stu Skin win the cup, win the thing, and Connor McDavid maybe a little bit. Knoblauch, let's go Imperial, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, that's why he's my rooting interest. But how, even if you hate Brad Marchand, if you respect the game of hockey, how can you not respect what he's doing at his age?
Did you see his mom?
I know.
Stands.
She's
Bradley.
She's a nut job.
She called him Bradley. Yeah,
apparently
she looks like she guzzles red wine hard. Maybe a Paul Mile at break.
And then apparently Marchand apparently between periods overtime he did have a blizzard. And
where would he get one from? What's the nearest Dairy Queen to the arena there in Edmonton? I call bull.
Well, if I'm a smart franchisee in Edmonton and I'm on my P's and Q's, I would be sending them over to have in the freezer.
Yep.
Just whenever they would need one. Just for the opportunity to get mentioned in the post game.
And a box of Buster Bars just cuz. Who doesn't like a Buster bar? Dilly bar, take a seat.
Oh, no. Okay, so Buster bars are the ones with peanuts. Dilly bars are the Rebels, right?
Yeah, I'm peanuts. Yeah. And then an ice cream sandwich.
Yeah, they could.
You know what he did in high school?
My mother-in-law.
Remember that one on 33rd Street in Saskatoon? That old DQ? There's, some of the ladies from Bedford work there. The one night, probably banged up, I got them to dip an ice cream sandwich in the hard chocolate that they dip cones in. Oh, yeah. And whatever happened to the snack and a half? Can we bring back the snack and a half? Anyway.
Remember the good old days when Royal Treats used to be $1.99? What are you looking at for a banana split these days? It's $10.
At least.
At least. Remember when they were $1.99?
And it just turns into like you drink it because you can't eat it fast enough. Peanut Butter Parfait, overrated. I'm saying it right now. Like the Big Mac.
Too much chocolate.
Yeah. Okay, how this is going to go, we got Tegan coming up with the Red Sox report. Then we're going to rerun Coach Mace from Hour 1. Great interview. Always a pleasure talking to Coach Mace. It is the Sports Cage. We're streaming at sportscage.com and on 620 CKRM.
Showcasing the boys of summer. Time for another edition of the Sports Cage Regina Red Sox Report on 620 CKRM.
For Unifor 594, energy workers putting care in career since 1942, safety is our business. I'm Tegan Whitco. Last week started off heavy for the Regina Red Sox. After learning pitcher Jesse Lubinecki died on the drive home to Regina just days prior. He was slated to start his second year with his hometown team. The club will be donning a number 33 patch in his memory this season. The Sox came out on top that night, dedicating the win to their fallen teammate. They downed the Medicine Hat Mavericks 14-9 and went on to split the two-game series. The club hit the road for a pair of games in Swift Current later in the week, earning a W in both contests. Weather posed a bit of a problem this past weekend at Curry Field. Saturday's game against the visiting Fort McMurray Giants was paused for the evening and resumed on Sunday, ahead of the regularly scheduled afternoon game. The Sox came out on top in both of those contests. A solid week for the club overall, with 5 wins and just a single loss. The boys of summer prepare for the week ahead with a home-and-home against the Swift Current 57s, Weyburn Beavers, and Medicine Hat Mavericks. And that's your Red Sox report for Unifor 594.
Bessie and I hate automotive waste dumped into our back 40. There's not an endless supply of oil and plastic, so it's very clever of you to recycle automotive waste properly. All that yucky used oil and antifreeze material can be turned into reuseful products. Please make automotive waste reuseful. Visit usedoilrecyclingsk.com. Mother Nature, our land, and our whole herd. Thank you.
We score, you score with PlayNow.com. Get a $5 bonus bet for every goal scored by a Canadian when you make a playoff same-game parlay.